Boston's home for sports. 98.5, the Sports Hub, Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
The NBA wrapped up day 2 of the draft, and after the Celtics drafted Baylor Shireman from Creighton in round 1, Boston selected power forward Anton Watson from Gonzaga. In the second round, Watson leaves school as a fifth-year senior. Bronny James joins his father, LeBron James, in L.A. He was taken the following pick. The NHL draft is tonight. The Boston Bruins have the 25th pick in round 1. They acquired that in the Linus Ullmark trade. The Red Sox are back at it tonight as the San Diego Padres are in town for a weekend series. First pitch is 7:10. Nick Pivetta gets the start for Boston. Red Sox are currently 43-37 on the season. They sit 7.5 games behind New York and Baltimore in the American League East. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Mike Lockhart. I'm Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next headlines in 30 minutes.
Start your day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Fred, hello. 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 Mm-hmm. Hello. Hello. Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Open him up with a football.
98.5. The Hub.
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
Cocaine and hookers. Yes. Is it okay to use this for the radio? Yeah. Welcome to the show, you sweet bitch.
First kid. Those are pretty good if you want a starter.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy. And then it's vacation time, right, Joey Joe?
I like pie.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You love a little piece of apple pie.
And then he talked about the banana pudding. Oh.
Dr. Steve Murray. Can I get a little piece of that apple pie? You know, a song that's not a lot discussed too much was the debut song off of Eat 'Em and Smile, the debut single by David Lee Roth, his first full solo album.
Yep.
Which is called Yankee Rose. And it's a song that is entirely about how he wants to bang the Statue of Liberty. No, there's no It is entirely about how he wants to bang the Statue of Liberty. In fact, it goes into nothing like her in the whole world. He's like, I'm going to get a little piece of that pie, a little piece of that apple pie. And he's talking about her, private parts. The song is about his lust for the country, his lust for Yankee Rose. Statue of Liberty. You didn't know that, did you?
No, I don't think I ever listened to the full length. You know,
really?
No.
It's a great album.
I was actually frightened by that cover as a child.
Oh, because he had all the makeup on and stuff?
Yeah.
I contend.
Oh, I've heard Yankee Rose. I'm looking at the lyrics now. Yeah.
Yeah, of course you have.
Yeah.
That's his. I think that's better than any Van Halen album. That Eat 'Em Smile. I think that's he won, and then everything kind of fell apart after that. But that was a triumph. He had Steve Vai and he had Eric Bissonette on drums. He had Scoobly Doobly Doo Dude on the bass. What's his face? Who's a big time Scientologist. It's all over the place.
Billy Sheehan.
Billy Sheehan, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know that. It's decent songs on that album. I don't know if you can claim that he won because he only had that one album.
So listen to how this is. He sexualizes. No, he didn't. He had Skyscraper afterwards, which was also very successful. Duh.
But was it good?
Yes.
Skyscraper was a good album. Now I got to go look at that.
It had Paradise on it. It wasn't as good as Eat 'Em and Smile, which I contend is better than any Van Halen album. Okay, here's the lyrics. You follow me.
Yeah.
Give me a bottle of anything and a glazed donut.
To go.
To go.
And then little Freddie would start playing with himself. All right. Here's where he talks to Steve Vai. What? Well, let me roll up outside the corner and take a look. Yeah. Whoa. She's beautiful. I'm talking about that Rose. And she looks fine. Wild. All right, now you turn it off. I'll just read it to you. He goes, are you ready for the new sensation where here's a shot heard around the world? All you backroom boys salute when her flag unfurls. You know, so when she takes off her clothes.
Yeah.
Well, guess who's back in circulation? But now I don't know what you may have heard, but what I need right now is the original Good Time Girl. So he's saying he's back in circulation. He doesn't know what rumors you heard, but right now he needs to bang the Statue of Liberty. She's a vision from coast to coast, coast to coast. She the shining sea, the shining sea. Hey, sister, you're the perfect host. Show me your bright lights, boobs, city lights, veg. All right, I'm talking about the Yankee roads. Bright lights, boobs, city lights, vag. I'm talking about it. When she walks, watch, the sparks will fly. Fire cracking on the 4th of July. No sad songs tonight, something's in the air. Yeah, the feeling gets you. A real state of independence. You know, because she's her own woman. So pretty when her rockets glare. Boobs again. Still prove it any night that her flag's still there. Vag.
Okay, I'm going to give you $100 if you promise not to say vag again, ever.
Not say vag, $100?
Yeah.
Or hand it over.
Okay.
She's
you
a vision
$100.
from
Don't,
Coast.
please don't say that. It reminds
C
me
to
of somebody you
signing.
don't like.
C. Huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Hey, sister, you're the perfect host. Make a dose. Show me your bright lights.
Okay, so
Boobs.
is he talking about literally having sex with the statue of the Statue of Liberty, or is that a metaphor for an all-American girl?
No, it's the Statue of Liberty.
He wants to have sex with that giant statue.
Yeah. And at
How
the
would
end,
you do that?
And at the end, he goes, "Here's a little natural anthem here. Yeah, I want to get a little bit of old apple pie."
Yeah.
And what do you think that means?
He likes pie.
Yeah, he's talking about the genitalia of the female object of this song.
And another way of saying that would be,
Don't. It's the hoo-hoo.
okay.
He wants
You're
to
more comfortable with that?
He wants to do things with his hee-hee and the statue's hoo-hoo.
Yeah.
Fine.
So anyway, his first single, and this was a big release. Like this was, David Lee Roth was about as big a rock star as you could be at that point. And they said, "What's your first song about?" And he's like, "Banging the Statue of Liberty." And that's what it was. And people loved it. And that's what it was.
Well, he's talking to a guitar. I mean, how do you not love it?
Yep. Well, I mean, I remember at the time that made a lot of dudes that I knew start talking with the guitar. I remember when we met Lee Weiss at the first band practice, and we went, well, not quite as well, but we were like, "Hey, Lee, what's going on?" And he's like, "Wah, wah, 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 wah." And we're like, "Yeah, all right, Lee. Hey, it's nice to meet you." And he's like, "Skeet, skeet, skeet, lee." Yeah, Lee Weiss.
He wasn't the one that played the dome, did he?
No, that's
That was
Pete
somebody else.
Bissonette. That was Peter Bissonette. Lee Weiss went to Berkeley College of Music, and now he runs a music school
Guitar Center.
Yeah, now he runs a music school in Ohio, one of them places in Ohio, not the big cities, or Kentucky, Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Oh, well, nice town.
Sure, exactly where we want to live. Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us every morning on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe to keep up to date with all the best moments from Boston's home from sports. Are you out of town this week coming up, Michael?
No, I'm sticking around. I'm actually on air Monday and Tuesday with Johnston and Holly.
Whoa. Whoa.
Johnston and Holly. All right.
Big time.
Yeah. And then you, Hardy, are staying home.
Yeah. We might, and again, we might end up doing like an overnight somewhere, but I don't know. I don't know.
Wouldn't you have to have that in place?
No, not for this. No.
What's the secret?
Yeah, it's we may go stay with somebody. I think. I don't know. I heard mention of it like a week ago. I wasn't really paying attention.
Far away or down the street?
No, we're just going over next town over.
I mean, like we might stay with someone.
No,
like, is there a state or a city?
Next town over in Randolph. Right, might go over there.
And go camping in the backyard.
Yeah, just a little closer to the mall. Get over that way. Now, I thought I heard something about going down the Cape, but I don't know. I doubt it because my daughter has a thing that she's starting next week, and no, it's fine. I think my wife is working.
What do you have, a secret property down the Cape?
Yeah, no, seriously. Next thing you know, you're going to have a place in Stowe.
I don't think we're going anywhere. And I'm fine with that.
This reminds me a lot. Mike, I'm glad you mentioned that. This like kind of aloofness reminds me a lot of what's going on.
Yeah.
About people that used to be here being aloof about their plans.
I wish I had something to be coy about.
We just have no plans.
I know.
And then Nantucket became the Cape. I'm just being reminded that I'm going to the Cape. And there's no, you're going to Nantucket where you own the property. The Cape, because somehow the Cape was more... more everyman.
Blue collar.
A little more blue collar.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was told that it meant everything, and then I argued back that no, it doesn't, that those are two separate entities. You can't, even if you know you're talking about an island, you just can't say the Cape. You have to say, the island. That person said, no, it all means the same thing. No, it doesn't. Mm-hmm.
But he said that Nantucket, if you say the Cape, that means Nantucket,
yeah, it all
too?
means the same thing. You just say Cape. It means Nantucket. I said no.
That's gaslighting. That's making you seem crazy because you're saying a fact. No, Nantucket is Nantucket. The Newport is Newport. The Cape is the Cape.
The vineyard is the vineyard.
And the vineyard is the vineyard.
Right.
Yeah.
You could say the islands. Oh, you're going back and forth from the vineyard to Nantucket. But you can't say I'm going to the Cape and then end up on Nantucket if you knew you were ending up on Nantucket because that would make you a liar.
Right.
Yeah. You can't do that at all.
No. This is the point where I feel best about the staycation decision because I'm not stressed about getting stuff ready to leave. Like when do you leave for Tennessee, Fred?
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so it's like I'm not saying you're stressed, but you've got stuff to do and a few things to handle. I'm like, man, I don't have any of that. I am so cool. I will probably regret this by Monday.
Yeah.
Where it's like, holy crap, we're not doing anything all week. And we would have been off Thursday, Friday anyway. So it really only feels like you're taking 3 days off. And I think we all need it. I mean, I just need to catch up on some sleep. And
after the NBA championships and that run, everybody up late, in early, yeah.
I get some stuff done around the house. I'll have it done by probably Tuesday morning. And like, okay, now what?
Relax.
Crap. I don't relax well. I really don't.
You want me to I can get you some pictures of the Statue of Liberty if you want to pleasure yourself.
Pictures of apple pie, Statue of Liberty. What else?
Here's a little anthem. I want to get a little bit of that apple pie. That's what it says here. It's during the solo. Because, raise them up. Let's see who salutes, baby. Yeah. Little bit higher. So he's like saying like she's pulling her skirt up. Here's the national anthem here. Yeah. I want to get a little bit of that apple pie. That's what he says during the solo. They went, Dave, go in there and vamp about how you want to bang the Statue of Liberty. He's like, I can do it. Beep, bop, boo, la, boo, da, boo. Want to be a little bit of that apple pie. Yeah, see, tomorrow I'll be winging on off to Atlanta. Then I have a layover at the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. And then I will be taking the half an hour flight up to Knoxville. And then just from then on, it's going to be no shoes, no shirt, no problem.
You got a book? You got a book picked out?
I do. I still have the same book that I haven't finished. And then I have a bunch of books I haven't finished at my parents' house, too. My room at my parents' house is pretty much my room. The room downstairs, the bedroom downstairs is pretty much just filled with my belongings. Anything I don't want to hear is there. So I have books. I have a mini library. I have a shelf.
Oh.
Yeah. And if you ever want a Robert Parker book, my father has every single one of them.
I would like his copy of A Catskill Eagle,
Okay.
and I'll think of a couple more.
Would you like his first book where he rescues the woman who's she's a young lady. She's tied nude in a sacrifice that the bad guys are doing. He saves her. He unties her, takes her back to his apartment. She takes a shower. She comes out, and he has sex with her.
Good for her for showering first.
Thank you, Michael. It's an excellent point.
Yeah.
Reading this book, like, what the hell is going on? He's like, and I took the dame back to my house. Take a shower. I'm going to have a drink. Because this is back when he drank, like in the beginning. He's like, I'm going to have a drink. And then she's like, and she's up there to shower, and then she comes out, and he bangs her.
Did Spencer stop drinking at some point?
I think he might have stopped drinking at some point.
Well,
but
he
I'm not
was
positive.
always a whiz in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't gonna. Yeah, he had some other orphan that he brought back to his place, and he's like, "Sorry, we don't have any peanut butter and grape jelly here," and instead he made her like a seafood frittata, you know, with fresh corn muffins or something. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I would have rather had a peanut butter and grape jelly sandwich than that mess.
Yeah, but
why don't you calm down there, Spence?
It shows just because he's a hard ass doesn't mean that he can't, he doesn't have a feminine side. That's why girls like him.
Well, he had a refined side, but he'd box the hell out of some dummy who got in his way. He'd punch him right in the nose, and he'd go home, and then he'd whip you up a souffle.
See, I think the second book he meets the Jewish lady that ends up being his
Susan Silverman.
Susan Silverman, who becomes his woman for the rest of the series. His lava.
Except when she takes off, and that's a Catskill Eagle.
Okay, so I don't ruin anything for me. And then he meets an African-American gentleman well into the series.
Hawk.
Like Hawk, about like 5 books in. And then Hawk sticks around for a while. Don't worry about Hawk. And there's never any inappropriate language around Hawk. Hawk is like, do you remember the show?
And then Hawk's son shows up, who you'd think they called him Hawk Jr., but they call him Hawk Tua.
That girl's the best. Everyone that's like,
I'm starting to like her.
Yeah. I like her too. She's like not good looking. She's like just having fun. She doesn't even swear.
Yeah.
She just goes on that thing. Like I like her.
Hawk Tua, spell that thing.
Yeah, she's just having a fun time.
Which I don't want, by the way. If she
I don't know. No, I don't want that either.
Yeah, is anybody?
No.
Anybody
No.
into that?
No.
Anyone? Nicholas?
Don't spit on me,
Nicholas? No. Okay.
I wouldn't. I mean, like I wouldn't mind it, but it's not
Oh,
like
I would.
something that I would request.
I would absolutely. Oh, I mind.
I'd just be excited something was going on down there.
Someone starts. And before do you mind? Actually, I do mind. No, thank you.
Could you grab a napkin, please? Spit that out.
No, if anything is around there, I'm okay. Anything's around there, you can do whatever you want pretty much down there.
Good. Then noted.
Not you.
Oh.
Someone taller. Yeah. All right. Very good. We will be back. What a show on that. We're going to do Shooting the Breeze today. It is exciting. We have not done Shooting the Breeze in a very long time. I don't think we've done Shooting the Breeze this year, but it's summer. It's the day before a week of vacation. Everyone's living the juicy fruit. Everyone's washing away the night.
I'll see if I can develop a new appreciation for Shooting the Breeze, because as a listener to this show, I did not fully embrace it.
Oh.
So we'll see.
Well, that's all that really matters is if you like it.
No, it's happening here, and whether I like it or not, it's well established, does not matter. Let's talk about the stupid Kendra bet some more. Yeah, you think I like that? No. Does it matter? No. So ditto for Shooting the Breeze, but I think being a part of it might help me grow in an appreciation for it. That's all I'm saying.
Is this your plan with every bit that we do, that you're going to crap all over it, leading an expectation of it not to be good?
Was Shooting the Breeze a universally loved and embraced
Yes, by the
segment?
audience, yes.
I always thought so.
Okay.
Everybody seemed to enjoy it. We
Nicholas?
got full phone lines.
You don't know. Okay. All right. All right, good.
A+ imaging,
Yeah. I don't know what your problem is. Or why that you felt the need to say that, quite frankly.
Because I think I had said it before.
No, you had not.
No,
I can assure you had not. I would have remembered.
Well, I assure you, I probably said it on these airwaves somewhere else. So I don't want to. I don't want to be called a hypocrite by someone who may have been listening.
All right. Well, Shooting the Breeze is, for our audience, a big treat for them because they can call in about anything they want. It's basically any other show. If you made fun of it on the midday show, all it is the midday show.
Yes.
For a segment. So, I mean, it would have been a little hypocritical to do that. All right. So, what happened yesterday? What are we going to talk about?
Mike and I were talking about that earlier. Round 2 of the NBA draft. We talked about
there's
that.
a lot. I mean, the round 2 of the NBA draft, there's a lot. Did you ever hear about the kid from Duke and why he went in the second round?
No.
Okay, I can tell you about that.
Okay, so we got that. I guess since everybody will be talking about that debate last night, did you watch any of it, Fred?
No.
It just bears mentioning, and then we'll spend 10 seconds on it. But
Okay,
it
very
needs to
good.
be mentioned.
All right.
That's all.
We'll be right back.
More
Toucher and Hardy. All right, what happened last night?
Do you want to talk about the debate first, or you want to talk about?
You can talk about the debate if you want. I didn't see any of it.
Okay.
I watched an hour of it.
Yeah, I watched about an hour too. Dan, you watched about an hour? About an hour of that thing?
Yeah.
Spin on that thing?
Wow.
Then I went to bed.
After
looking for the recent channel button, the one that you went back to.
Yeah,
what you were watching before.
After 15 minutes, here's my epiphany, Fred. You ready? It obviously has been decided by whoever truly runs things that it doesn't matter who the president is. Otherwise, nobody would put either one of these guys up there for a debate. They said, okay, you know what? Let's just let them go up there and duke it out with their socks full of toilet paper, and then we'll just run things as we have been doing for the last God knows how many years, decades, whatever.
It doesn't
matter. It doesn't matter. Let them go. Holy crap!
They let him go.
They let him go. And I didn't watch toward the end. But apparently some people were tagging me. It's like, oh, they're talking about golf. They're arguing about golf. I said, yeah, not even that could make me tune back in. Where the starts talking about apparently Biden claims that he's a 6 handicap, and Trump brought up the fact that he just won 2 more club championships.
Club champion 2 years in a row, right?
Not the seniors, mind you, but the 67 he shot.
His club.
And I'm like, okay, well now you. It's just idiocracy. Like, one guy can't even speak.
Yeah,
That
literally.
guy just says things that are just like
over and over again.
Oh, okay. It's complete Looney Tunes.
So first of all, this should have started at 4 p.m., by the way, to get the best out of everybody.
But that's my epiphany, Fred.
I actually thought about that when we got off the air, and I looked at the internet, and it was like the debates tonight, and I went, oof.
Yeah, it's very late. 9 o'clock?
Yeah, that's late.
Yeah.
For both of these guys.
But then you risk the sundowning effect, which is a real thing when it starts like late afternoon. Tends to be like the worst time for people of a certain age.
Sure. Especially with the time change in the summer and lighter later. Yes.
It's like a biological thing. I'm not even joking. They were talking about it with both these guys. It's like, oh, he's sundowning. That's why they won't, let him in front of cameras around like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. That's when they get bad. So it can't matter. They must have decided, Fred, that it can't matter who's
and the
president.
9 o'clock was better.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't. What am I going to do? There's nothing I can do about any of this, so I'm not even paying attention to it as much. The way I feel about it, I do think it's interesting that I didn't even look at it until you told me about it, and I looked and the Globe had given Biden an F, and then the CNN, these right wing places were talking about. They were talking to like someone who is a Democratic strategist, and they went, "Oh no, like." He didn't seem to know what was going on, and to that I would say, you're just finding this out now, huh?
Well, he had a cold, Fred.
No. Well, I would imagine he always has a quote-unquote cold in that he could quote-unquote die at any moment. And so it is interesting to me that people who are very, have spent great portions of their lives around this man and, supporting this man and telling us that this man is what is best for all of us, have now put a guy up where all of a sudden they went, whoops-a-daisies, he's old.
One of the quotes, Fred, was, he seemed a little disoriented, but seemed to gain a little strength as it went along.
That's great.
Panic button. They're like, they are looking for that red panic button.
Yeah. So the thing is if you're a Democrat now, you obviously have to be hoping that he steps out and that you have time to jam someone in there.
5 weeks before the convention?
Yep. Yep.
There's talks going on today, I bet.
Well,
Today. Last night.
I think so, Dan. I would imagine that there's strategy sessions.
One of the things I read,
he's not going to win.
No, he's not. It's not going to win. But also, I don't know that they can run someone else unless he agrees to not run. His name will be on the ballot.
He would have to agree not to run.
Yeah.
I mean, all they'd have to do is hide stuff.
I think. Hasn't it already been decided? It has to. I don't
There's
know.
no way in the democratic process that you can. What if someone was to pass away? Not him, but what if like a candidate was to pass away during this time of year?
Right.
You'd have to be able to have someone else come on the ballot, right? There'd have to be
It would probably be automatically Harris, right?
maybe,
if he passed away.
maybe, but I don't know because she hasn't been reelected. It would be automatically Harris if he passed away. She would automatically become president,
Right.
for the rest of this. But then, what happened when Nixon was voted out, and then following down McGee, Gerald Ford became president, and then he lost the next election. So you know what I'm saying? So
This is where we need Wallach.
yeah, what?
Well, he claims
That's why you need Wallach to do what I just did.
he claims not to remember Gerald Ford being president,
Right.
which, or he says like Reagan was the first one he remembered. It's like, what are you talking about?
first one I remember.
Even I remember Carter. I remember Ford like that much.
He says he doesn't remember Carter, and he's older than you.
He probably voted for Nixon.
Oh, you know who did? My dad. My dad, big fan.
Wallach would riding his bike around the neighborhood with his "I like Ike" button.
Well, he didn't trust the process ever since Dewey didn't win.
Yeah, well,
He saw the headlines. He still has it.
it was lining the floor of his room.
Yeah.
By the way, the Globe, yes, gave Biden an F in the debate last night. And then for Trump, the Boston Globe said grade B. His job was to appear strong and energetic without coming across as a jerk, and he succeeded. Over 90 minutes, he didn't attack the moderators once.
No.
He didn't interrupt. Did he lie? Yes, nonstop. Did he answer questions? Rarely. Did anyone land a punch on him? Nope. So, yeah, you got a B.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you graded on. I mean, obviously you're grading on a curve. You're grading it like you get a grade based on that other guy. And the other guy failed across the board. That's a failure. Yeah, it's good.
Speaking of debates in Nixon, like, remember when Nixon, they were like, this is awful. Nixon's sweating. And what's his face is doing really well. Kennedy is doing so well because Nixon's sweating, and now it's just like a guy like, and you're like, oh, okay. Like Nixon would have killed that debate.
Oh my God.
Like if you would have like put Nixon into this debate, he would have won it. He would have been doing somersaults around.
Yeah, it literally would have been like a master class on how you orate and how you make a point and how you debunk what the other person just said. Oh, he was a little sweaty in the process. So what? Great. Thank you. I'll vote for Nixon right now.
You have a convicted felon and who is believed to have led an attack on the Capitol against a man who lost to him. So there you have it.
Soundly.
Yeah. Who was? There's no debating.
No. At one point, I thought he fell asleep like legit.
Yeah, it would have been nice if people, let everyone know that beforehand. Like, there's a good chance this guy.
They were definitely
make
both
it
wearing
through.
diapers, by the way.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt that. Yes. I mean, but the funny thing is Trump's not young. It's just Biden's super old.
Yeah.
Like super old. Like way older than most people.
Yeah.
What's Trump, like 77 or something?
He's 2 years younger than Biden, I think.
Oh, so he's in his 80s?
Is Biden in his 80s?
Oh, yeah. Biden's older than my parents. My parents are 82.
Oh, my God. Trump is 78.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but Trump's younger than my parents, and Biden's quite a bit older
He's
than my
81.
parents. Biden?
Yeah.
Oh. All I can say
It can't matter. It can't matter who the president is. I used to think it mattered a little bit. I saw that last night. I'm like, well, it obviously can't matter.
No,
Someone else much smarter than me. They've the Illuminati. They've all decided it doesn't matter. I'm gonna trust the Illuminati on this one. It can't matter who's president.
No, I don't think it matters as everyone else much as everyone thinks it is. I mean, there was a lot of hand wringing. I mean, all our lives there's been all this hand wringing, and then you figure like, oh, people were worried pretty much about nothing. It's better to stay out of it.
All right.
Let me see here. Bob, go ahead. Bobby.
Good morning, fellas.
Hey.
Just to go back, I'm old, not too old, but so in 1972, Nixon won re-election with Spiro Agnew as his running mate. And then a year later, he resigned. Gerald Ford stepped in as vice president. In August of 74, Nixon resigned. Ford took over and then ran for re-election in 76 and lost to Carter. So Ford was the only president that was never really elected, even as a vice president. He was, brought in to replace Spiro Agnew in 1972. And you were talking about the debate in 1960. Nixon was just getting off of phlebitis, and he wore a gray suit with gray background, so he looked awful. He was very white. Kennedy was wearing a blue suit, handsome guy. Rumor has it that, he had a good time in the afternoon of the debate, and he was fresh and really, really with it. And a lot of people who heard the debate thought that Nixon won. People who saw the debate on TV thought that Kennedy won because, again, he just looked better. So it's just all this weird stuff. But that was a disaster last night.
Yeah,
that was just embarrassing, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying is that, you think of these debates, and I believe that was the first televised debate, right? And the people were like, well,
Yes,
that's
1960. Yep.
Yeah, they're like, the reason Nixon lost that election is because he was televised and he didn't know how to handle television. And it's like, well, that was nothing compared to what's going on now. And these guys have had television since at least they were 30. Dan, go ahead.
That debate was like when you made, oh my God, why am I drawing a blank? Sarge, when you made Sarge do a break by himself, and you're like, you got this. And he kept on like mumbling, and that's pretty much what it was. It also reminded me of have you ever told someone they're not ready to do something, and they're like, no, I can do it, I'm fine. And it's like, fine, go ahead and do it. That's it, go. You got it. Let's see what you can do.
Yeah.
Nobody stopped it. It was great.
Yeah, it's just like that now the Democratic Party is going like, what should we do? Whoa, that came out of nowhere. Huh? You've been around this guy for 6 years. But leading up to the election, during his presidency, you haven't seen this. I mean, this is what the guy is. He's completely out of it.
Yeah. And I honestly don't know anyone's political affiliations anywhere. It's not like we sit around and talk about this stuff. But I get the sense, just, from us talking here, what you'd really like is two viable candidates and actually be forced into making a decision like, oh, there's actually good things about both of these people. And, now I have to decide who I think is going to be the better choice. Not based on whatever party I belong to, because I don't. I never have. No. Why would I let someone else make that choice for me? No, let me take a look. Let me see what you got. Hopefully you got two good choices. You got a Maytag and a Frigidaire. Let's see what you got.
No,
neither one.
That might be two bold, two good choices. You would think the lesser of two evils. But what's sad about things now is that, and this has changed in my lifetime, at least there was, if it wasn't phony, at least it was, if it was phony, at least it was believed that there was something altruistic, like a higher ideal, that people wanted to get into politics to change things and make the world a better place. That even if it was a phony line of garbage, at least that's what it was. And so you would think when you were a kid, you would go like, well, he's going to be the president someday. He's going to be the president someday. Like the smartest kid at your school, he's going to be the president someday. Right. And no one says that anymore because Trump or Biden would not be in this. Trump for all the baggage that he carries, and Biden because he's a million. Wouldn't be in a different time, wouldn't be the presidential candidates, because there would be smart, charismatic people that would be that wanted to do some form of good. They want the power, obviously. They're obviously power hungry, but some part of them, they could at least con people into thinking they wanted to do good.
Yes.
And that doesn't even exist anymore. So you trot out a guy who's 78 and a guy who's 89.
Right.
And that's what happened.
No, and if these two end up being on the ballot in November, I would my only prediction would be it'll be the lowest voter turnout in a presidential election, because a lot of people would just say, I can't in good conscience vote for either one of these guys.
If Trump's on the ballot and Biden's on the ballot, Trump's going to win 75%. He's going to win every swing state. He's going to win. He's going to lose California, and he's going to lose Massachusetts and New York, and then he's going to win everything else. Yeah. He's going to win Michigan. He's going to win Pennsylvania. He's going to win Ohio. He's going to win Florida. He's going to win everything.
Right, and because the people who truly support him are going to get out there and vote anyway. But I think a lot of those swing states, I think people just won't vote. The people who are truly on the fence, like, I'm not voting in this. I can't vote for either one of these.
They said 20% of the electorate going into this, of voters going into this debate were undecided. They're all now Trump. And the rest, and now there's RFK Jr., if he's on the ballot places, people will just vote for him instead of Biden. Biden might come in third. Who knows? Not good news for the Democratic process. But, hey, I didn't pick them. I'm not the one who put those guys up. I got nothing to do with it. All right, when we come back, Bronny James.
I don't know why it's bad news. You're afraid of being great again? You want to be great?
I just would like it if there was someone who could stand there for an hour to kind of push back on whoever it was. No, I don't. I just told you Trump's going to win easily, and it'd be hard to justify him not, based on last night, apparently. All right, here's Bronny. But more than that, the kid from Duke that was supposed to be a lottery pick, a lot of stories about Filipowski coming out now that are very interesting. And here's a little hint. He went to Utah. Ooh. All right, we'll have that for you.
Sports Hub headlines.
Yeah, the NBA wrapped up day 2 of the draft, and the Celtics, the day after taking Baylor Shireman in the first round, they selected power forward Anton Watson from Gonzaga with pick 54. Bronny James went to the Lakers the following pick at 55. NHL draft is tonight. The Boston Bruins have picked 25 in round 1. They acquired that in the Linus Ullmark trade. And the Red Sox are back tonight. San Diego Padres are in town for a weekend series. First pitch is at 7:10. Nick Pivetta gets the start for Boston. Sox are currently 43-37 on the season, 7.5 games behind New York and Baltimore. I'm Mike Lockhart. I'm Boston's Home for Sports. Your next headlines at 7 o'clock.
Goes to Derek White, who steps back into the corner for three. Kick into the corner. Al, three. Got it. Offensive rebound. Lively. Blocked by Derek White. A monster block.
This is the flagship station of the world champion Boston Celtics. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Whether you want help with your plumbing business, plumbing career, or you need plumbing services, visit healthstartswithplumbing.com. Property owners...
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Yesterday was the second round held at 4 o'clock by the deputy commissioner of the NBA. And Kyle Filipowski, for a while, was considered to be a top 10 pick, then a lottery pick, and eventually was selected 32nd overall by the Jazz. Now, keep that in mind, the Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
ESPN's John Giovanni reported both on the Lowell podcast and NBA Today that teams had been talking about the age gap between Filipowski and his girlfriend, Caitlin Hutchinson, and why he was allegedly estranged from his family. While Giovanni questioned why that would ultimately impact the decision to select him or not, calling it nonsense during the podcast appearance, the ESPN draft reporter added to the narrative to this discourse surrounding Filipowski. NBA teams are talking about the fact they had question marks about his girlfriend being so much older than him. Why was he estranged from his family because of this whole situation? He apparently doesn't talk to his parents or his brother, and it's a very, very odd situation. I personally don't understand why it would cause him to drop like this into the second round. There are questions about his There are no questions about his character, but NBA teams are talking about his nerves, and his workouts weren't great. And when they ask about the situation in interviews, the answers they got weren't satisfactory towards them. But the story didn't stop there. A person purporting to be Filipowski's brother on X said that, and one claiming to be his mother, made allegations that the former forward's girlfriend had been grooming him and that Hutchinson had forced Filipowski to cut off his family 2 years ago. Both accounts had alleged this had been an ongoing issue, and the account claiming to be his brother, Daniel, wrote that the story has been pushed under the table for nearly 2 years now. They're saying that this woman who is 26, he is 20, that they have, that she has led him into the Mormon religion, and she has made him stop contacting his family, and now he has been drafted by Utah.
Okay, how does one get groomed to be a member of the Church of the Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints?
They find the truth.
Well, I mean,
They have an awakening.
You put that loud-collared coat on, you go at it.
well, generally, I
Loud-collared coat. Someone knocks on your door, two guys, and you answer the door, and they go, "Can I tell you the good news?" And you go, "Sure." And you sit down, and next thing you know, you're Mormon.
That sounds like more of like a Jehovah's situation.
No. You've never had the people on a mission walking around the neighborhood knocking on doors?
From the LDS? No,
Mormon.
That's LDS.
Oh, Latter-day Saints, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you never have?
No. I've
Big in
had
Atlanta.
Jehovah's.
Oh, no. I've had Jehovah's in Detroit. In Atlanta, it was almost entirely Mormon missionaries.
Oh.
You never saw the Book of Mormon? The kids, they put on the suit, they go on the mission.
Oh, no. Wait, believe me, I dressed up as a Mormon missionary for Halloween once. They were all over Las Vegas. There are a ton of missionaries living and working in Las Vegas. What?
You were mocking them?
Yes. I was friends with many of them. They loved my Mormon
I'm
buddies.
sure your friends
loved my outfit.
I'm sure your
had
friends.
the tie, the short sleeve dress shirt. We had name tags made. We instead of riding bicycles, we took Razor scooters and rode them around the Hard Rock that night. It was fun. But no, how do you get groomed to do something like not do anything? I'm going to groom you. So, is it for something nefarious? No, I'm grooming you so that you don't drink caffeine, you don't use tobacco, and you don't have sex until we're married. Yeah. How's that grooming? It's I think it's a bad choice of words.
No. I just watched a documentary about these dancers, these like TikTok dancers.
Yeah, I saw it.
And basically, they just turn you against your family and tell you, like, if you want to be with these people, they're doing everything wrong. They don't, everything you're doing in life, they're against it, and they turn you against them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it could just be the Mormon church, while not, being the reason behind it. It could be one of the tools she's using to groom him away from his family.
Yeah.
So, and you think 26, 21, like that's not that big a deal. But, what if she was 23 and he was 17? Then, then you start thinking, okay, How long has she been grooming him? And maybe this is she's getting him away from the family. Anyway, it was enough that he dropped into the second round.
Yeah,
and that's what they're saying. And I heard Mad Dog talking about it too, so it's legit.
So
he goes, and the kid, he went to Utah. So make your own, you make your own thing.
Of course, the big story of the night.
With the 55th pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Bronny James from the University of Southern California.
Yeah, I heard that live. Now, we'll do that later, and we'll play you audio of people tripping on all over themselves trying to say, including Stephen A. Smith, who's been so tough on this pick. This pick is bad for basketball because Paul, his agent, LeBron James' agent, called teams that were picking in the second round around the Lakers and said, don't take them.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does that mean?
He's going to Australia.
Or he's going to Australia. So you go, all right, who cares? Like, I'll pick him and he'll go to Australia and I still accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. He's never going to play for L.A. No. The thing being that if you take Bronny James and you're not the Lakers, like outside of the first round, that company will never do business with you again. So well done, NBA, to give all that kind of power to Rich Paul.
And also, he's going to run away. You'll never find him.
Yeah, the thing about him going to Australia is a joke, but the thing that's not a joke is that what's his agency again? Rich Paul's agency?
I forget.
Clutch Sports.
Yeah.
Clutch Sports is never none of their clients will ever work with your team again. So
every team in the NBA except for the Lakers?
Yeah, so hooray.
Well, anybody who was looking, it was like around that. I think at some point they determined, okay, he's not going here.
Yeah, so hooray. That's how the NBA operates now. They strong arm. It's like the mob. They mob up and they strong arm different teams. All right, so we'll be right back with a good friend of ours. Jesse Owens, all these names come to mind. But no, this is a living greatest athlete, and it was a man by the name of Bobby Valentine. I can tell you this. There could be a new manager needed, and we played the audio of Alex Cora saying basically, like, we're in the playoffs, you need to make moves. I want this season to be big. And you could be in the market for a new manager because if you're Alex Cora and it's the last year of your contract.
Remember at the beginning when they asked him during spring training because of what had happened the last 2 years, have you spoken to the Red Sox about an extension? He's like, nah, we'll deal with that at a later time. We don't need to discuss that now. We'll play it out to the end of the season. So Cora, even as far back as spring training, was like, you know what? I'm tired of being ignored these last 2 years. They better do something or I'm gone. And he could get a job instantly anywhere else. Any team would take that guy. Guy won a World Series and has proven to do more with less. I mean, his team was loaded when he won it all 5 years ago. He's done maybe his best managing the last couple of years.
Yeah, he'll have no problem finding another job. And why would he want to stick around? I mean, he wants to win. Why would he want to stick around? But if you're in the market for a new manager, why not go to the past? You went back to Cora. Why not go back to Bobby Valentine? Bobby Valentine, the man who, remember when he came here and they had stuff like he built a fence. And it was an article about how Bobby V was in his backyard building a fence. And how Bobby V had a restaurant in Connecticut. And they said, Bobby, we're all out of bread. What are we going to do? And he goes, slow down. Take some tortillas. And they said, Bobby, you out of your mind. What do you mean take tortillas? And he said, it's called a wrap. And he invented the wrap. It was fantastic because he had, Hardy, I don't know if you recall this, but when Bobby Valentine was first brought to the team, you recall how the media, loved him. Oh, did they love him. He would regale them with stories, and it was just fantastic. But you don't hear much about Bobby Valentine anymore. He's not around really much anymore. Now, Mad Dog had him on the other day. And I don't know why.
Okay,
do you know why?
That was going to be my question. Why would you have Bobby Valentine on?
Is it the Subway Series right now? Maybe.
Yes, it is actually the Yankees and Mets. Yes.
So yeah, the whole conversation the conversation started, and Mad Dog brought him in by saying, we got a great Subway Series going on right now, but I shot 85 in the President's Cup qualifying, and he's been on the course with me there. Talk about that. To bring in, talk about that.
Yeah, so Mad Dog is just infatuated with Bobby Valentine, just like anyone else. But have that Superman music ready, because here is the epitome of Bobby Valentine, the present Bobby Valentine. I heard this live, and I was just like, this is amazing. But you know when we do impressions of people, and then they come, and it's exactly how they really are? Mad Dog and Bobby Valentine. Mad Dog just on his knees, just going, what do you need, Bobby? And Bobby going, if you're going to do it, do it. All right.
Folks, I'm going to brag about him. This is the best athlete Connecticut has ever produced.
Oh, well, she's saying something. I mean, my God.
Tons of Olympians have come from the state of Connecticut.
Hernandez.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Bristol Central High.
Right.
I mean, who isn't from Bristol Central High?
Folks, I'm going to brag about him. This is the best athlete Connecticut has ever produced. What'd you score?
Oh, God, that was 100 years ago.
Oh, no, you're still alive.
All right, so this is 100 years ago. What are you talking about, Mad Dog? I don't want to talk about this stuff. Come on.
Folks, I'm going to brag about him. This is the best athlete Connecticut has ever produced. What'd you score?
Oh, God, that was 100 years ago.
Oh, no, you're still alive. You're still alive, Moshe. You're still alive. You're still alive. What'd you score? What'd you score? 6 touchdowns in one high school game where you did it on every interception, a kickoff, a punt. Tell them about that game before you go. It's a famous game. Go ahead. It's funny.
Oh, I wish I could remember. It was against our rival, Stanford.
I thought he couldn't remember.
I wish I could remember. It's against our rival. He's Al Bundy.
It's funny.
Oh, I wish I could remember. It was against our rival, Stanford High, yeah, and
I got taken out in the middle of the third period after I intercepted a pass and ran it for a touchdown, and that was the sixth touchdown. And I recovered a fumble and scored one. And
yeah, he can't remember anything except for off the top of his head when he remembers every little detail of it. It was a balmy night in October. Bobby V had a lot of ideas in his head. Cold fusion, ending segregation, the rap. And it was time to score 6 touchdowns. Now, some kids might just go, hand me the ball, QB, and I'll take it in. Not Bobby V. That's too easy. Bobby V wanted to pick one up off the ground and score. Bobby V wanted to take one out of the air.
Now, Bobby, you're doing a great job with this story, but it sounds like you were a two-way player. Are you a two-way player?
I can't remember, so I played 4-way. Special team.
That's great, Bobby.
I coached the team.
Yeah, player coach. Yeah, player coach at a high school, Bobby.
Yeah, and I was the mayor.
Caught one and ran one and did all those things, I guess.
I guess, yeah. I don't know.
All those things.
All those things.
There's no guessing with you. There's no guessing with you, Bobby. You know it all, don't you? You know what you did.
I guess I did that.
Tell him what you did. It's a good story. Tell him.
Yeah, I guess I packed quite a hog, too. No ladies ever complained, I guess.
Yeah, I bet they didn't.
Yeah, I got 15,000 kids. And some from ladies I never even banged. Just by osmosis.
Caught one and ran one and did all those things, I guess. I wish I had a film of it so I could see if I was really any good. But at the time, they said I was, so I'll take everybody else's word for it.
Remember, this is the guy that was recruited to be OJ's replacement.
Yeah, and I've killed a lot of women and never even a sniff from the police.
Bobby, is it true that you were wanted for murder, but you never went on the lam? You never lamb, did you, Bobby?
No, but every glove fits. I mean, every glove fits my hand. It doesn't matter, small, medium, large. Bobby V's got chameleon hands. Everything fits. Not a drop of blood ever on me. I could stab all day, but Bobby V, I dodged the blood like the Matrix.
What's his word for it?
Remember, this is the guy that was recruited to be OJ's replacement at USC and didn't do it because the Dodgers made him the #1 pick in a draft and he went to Ogden, Utah instead. Is that correct?
That's it. Thanks, Chris. Those were the days. John McKay said as the first guy east of the Mississippi that he ever recruited, which was a feather in my cap.
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Did he say that to you? How about that? Jeez.
Yeah, that's documented somewhere. I read it. So
yeah, that's documented somewhere. In the presidential library. That's documented somewhere.
That's in the Library of Congress. I think that you got recruited. You got recruited by to replace O.J. Simpson.
John Hancock scribbled it down somewhere on the
parchment. He's got it on parchment paper in the Library of Congress, Bobby.
Yeah, he put it somewhere. It's a real situation.
Yeah, that's documented somewhere. I read it, so it must be true.
You are something.
Yeah, you are something. Imagine First of all, I love Mad Dog. I really legitimately do. Non-ironically love Mad Dog. But the idea that he had him on and he's like, talk about 1960 when he had a good football game. Talk about that. Talk about that, Bobby.
Mad Dog's, I don't know how much he went back. My gut tells me he didn't have to go back very much at all for that mid-90s Subway series. He remembered starting pitchers. He remembered relief pitchers. He remembered outs, innings, all this stuff, and he was going through it. I mean, you'd want to talk about a guy who loves baseball above all things.
He had Marv Albert on, again, recently. And he was, when Jerry West died. Yeah. And he goes, Marv, you called a lot of those Nick Laker finals, right? And he goes, tell me about that 68 Lakers starting lineup. Not so great in the regular season. And Marv Albert goes, it was because you're like, whoa. And Marv Albert goes, dog, I have no idea. He goes, Chris, I have no idea. He's like, I'd have to look it up. Like, no, I don't. Yeah, because I seem to recall that was a tough regular season for the starting five of the Lakers. And he's like, what maniac thinks that I remember
55 years ago.
Yeah, I wasn't even on this planet. This is 55. No, it's 50, 55, 56 years ago. This is unbelievable. 56 years ago. Can you tell me what the starting five in the regular season for the Los Angeles Lakers? No, I can't.
It must be great to not have to worry about who's listening and who isn't.
Well, that's what makes it so great. Like, that's what makes it funny. Like, for some reason, I could care less about professional tennis, but he's so passionate about it.
He always has. Even back when he was with the Fan, he was huge into tennis.
And then, people will call in with this, super obscure tennis stuff, and they're just so into it. I told Artie the other day, he'll go, Artie was mentioning about how he won some thing at his club. He'll go hole by hole. Me and the fat man in the 13th hole. And I look, it was -2. And then someone calling, dog, could you see the leaderboard on your phone? No, you couldn't see the leaderboard on the phone. And for some reason, I'm captivated by it. It doesn't bore me.
No, his voice, his energy, everything about it. And I don't care anything about the Subway Series in '95, but he starts to, Malicki. I remember when Malicki went to the money. You remember that, Bobby V? David Malicki. Because he was pretty good. Pretty good. He got recruited, but, when the Mets got him, and you didn't like. That was something going up against Jeter. Yeah, the fun, but Malicki were good. What?
Tell him about this. It's funny. Tell him about the 6th century. I don't recall. It was a rainy night in St. John. So there you go.
That's how he ends every question, too. I got to listen to more Mad Dog because I love him, too.
You tell me. You go. It's your turn. You go.
No, tell him. Go. Tell him.
Go. You
That's
go.
a good story. Tell.
Yeah, go.
Go now.
Go now. We have Frank from Longshore, and he says hello. Hello, Frank. Go. Okay. We're talking about a heavyweight fighter from the 1910s or something, and Mad Dog literally picked up an encyclopedia of sport, and neither you talk. Just this is what happened. He goes, I have to look that up. Let's see, 1920. And I remember going, because everyone had heard of Mike and the Mad Dog, and I remember going, wow, this is, what the hell's going on? And I guess it just goes to show you. I think he's better without Francesa, by the way. I think he's way better without Francesa.
I think he's fantastic, and we all listen to Francesa at some point, just mostly to, kind of laugh at.
Yeah, to goof on him.
Well, to goof on, it's they got a pope. We got a pope, no pope. White smoke. We got a pope. We got a pope. And he wouldn't let his producer talk. The producer is trying to give him the information, but he wouldn't let him on the air.
No, he doesn't want him on the air. That's his air.
Right.
When he would get all pissy about that, and then Francesa was boring.
Scola is the Pope, huh? So the Italian is the Pope. So the favorite is the Pope. So we're still here waiting to see who the Pope is.
Yeah, not good.
5 hours of that.
Yeah, not good.
5 hours every day, Francesa.
Yeah. And they're the dichotomy of Francesa and Mad Dog was what made it great. No, it's better not to have that dichotomy. It's better just to have Mad Dog. He's better on his own. He really is. And I understand why people get romantic about old shows and old stuff. I mean, I do too. It's because a lot of it is because it reminds you of when you were younger and, you are nostalgic for those days. It's not so much that the show was better as it is that you were nostalgic. Or maybe the Yankees were great during that time, so you remember that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I had relatives that lived in New York City at the time. And so whenever I drive down, I would always listen to Mike and the Mad Dog. And, yeah, there were those pauses. But like you were saying about discussing that stuff with Bobby V, it was captivating. The dichotomy, you were talking about the dichotomy between the two of them. Russo over-the-top energetic and Francesa as pompous can be. It worked. I listened.
Well, it obviously
I wasn't living in market. Obviously it was number one. That's overstating. But the point is it worked for me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Right. And I think that 99% of it was Mad Dog, and I think Mad Dog's better without him. I mean, I guess the tension between the two of them was good. But I like Mad Dog. I like Mad Dog on his own.
The funny part about it is, remember that 30 for 30? Francesa went on and on about how it was going to be nominated for an Oscar. Remember that for short film?
Yeah, he's a maniac.
I mean, he's amazing, but
he's also the guy who said, like, Parcells wanted me to be the
Right.
They wanted me to work in the front office for the Giants, but they didn't have enough money.
So it was no surprise when I watched that 30 for 30. Francesa wanted nothing to do with Russo at the start. He wanted to host the show by himself and was forced to take Russo. And Russo was like, if you don't like it, you can leave. It was great.
Yeah. They didn't like each other. That's for sure. All right, we'll be back.
Boston's home of the NBA champion, Boston Celtics. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Toucher and Hardy. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Yesterday was the second round of the NBA draft, and Filipowski from Duke, who was a big-time player for a couple years there, did not get taken to the second round, and they're saying that he's been estranged from his family because he was groomed by an older woman who has turned him into the Mormon religion, and then he was drafted by Utah. So that should be interesting. And he dressed kind of like a nerd at the thing.
Well, how nice must it be to be an age where a 26-year-old is considered an older person?
Yeah, she's a MILF.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh boy, the 26-year-old.
God
wow,
bless you, kid.
What a youngster. I guess, but that's when age still kind of like 26 to 21 is not that big a deal. But I guess 23 to 18, maybe 22 to 17, 22 to 17 probably. It's like the older you get, the less age matters.
Right.
Like the bigger the gaps get.
After 30, it doesn't really matter anymore, I feel like.
I don't think it matters at all after 30. Like, I've had people tell me, like, they're like, I'm only 37. And I'm like, there's no such thing.
Yeah.
There's no such thing.
But who out there is seeing that and saying, like, 26? Ugh, God, that's too old. Like
Yeah.
Belichick, maybe. And he's like, oh, that's too old.
Yeah, what was the chances that she was going to be better at grooming him than, like, someone his own age? Like, I guess you could just groom anyone.
Sure.
Like, she's so sophisticated at 26. All right. Well, listen, the big after that, which I did find interesting, and more should come out about that, because now you know everyone's going to be looking into that.
Sure.
So keep an eye on that. As
There'll
we're
be
on
a
vacation.
documentary coming.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. A Netflix documentary where they should have only been one episode, but there's 4.
Yeah.
Kind of like the one we were talking about with the TikTok answers.
Exactly.
All right. So here we are. It is pick 55, and Bronny James is taken.
This isn't Charmin. No wonder I don't feel as clean.
What?
Oh, he was wiping his ass with the. That's how much what he thinks of the NBA. He was wiping his butt with it.
How about that? Okay. I don't know.
Did I load a clip with the commercial at the beginning?
Maybe a little pre-roll in there. Yeah, let's pick it up from here and see what happens.
The anticipation has been building for weeks as to where we would hear Bronny's name called. This is a young man who had an unprecedented spotlight on him in his freshman year at USC, where he played 25 games. He missed the first 8 games of the season after he went into cardiac arrest on July 24th, 2023. He underwent a procedure to treat a congenital heart defect. To see him less than a year later be drafted is a feat I don't think we can lose sight of. He's, of course, the eldest son of one of the greatest players to ever play the game, LeBron James, and now we see the first ever father-son duo in the NBA.
Yeah. First of all, he's listed on the NBA site. He's 6'4", 210 pounds. He's 6'1".
Yeah.
So that's A. He's listed as 3 inches taller than he measured at any of these pre-camp places. So stop with that.
Yeah, which is egregious. An inch or 2 at the most. Like if you get listed at 6'2" and you're really 6 feet tall, like okay, but 3 inches?
Yeah,
that's come on. What are we doing?
It says with his shooting, passing. This is the NBA, who by the way have Bronny James listed as the 55 best recruit, and they have Zach Edey as the 59th best recruit, the 2-time Naismith Player of the Year, Naismith Player of the Year, who's 7'4". Is Bronny James a better prospect than he is?
Coming into this draft?
Yep. Coming into this draft, the 2024 NBA draft. Coming into this draft, this is how the NBA website, NBA.com.
Well, he got taken at pick 55 by the Lakers. Do you think they were just like, we'll slide him in there?
Yeah, well, they put Bronny there, but I mean, they only had Zach Edey 50 spots after he was taken. But Zach Edey can't move well laterally, so I mean that's a real problem for him.
Enough for him to drop 20 spots behind Bronny.
Yeah.
Now I agree with it.
Yeah, so they go with his shooting, passing IQ, and defensive quickness. James checks specific set of boxes to create a connector archetype that typically fits well at the next level. Well, he can't shoot, and since when did defensive quickness with someone who's 6'1" fit any kind of archetype that fits typically with the next level? Who's going out to get the 6'1" defensive specialist who can't shoot? I like with his shooting. He sucks at shooting. He was never a good shooter. In fact, he wasn't a good shooter in high school. Then, miraculously, he got McDonald's All-American and got invited to all these camps that we talked to 10 guys who said he never would have been invited to any of these camps. every time like Steve Lavin and stuff is on, these dudes that like live in gyms, they're like, no, there's no way this kid would have been invited to any of these camps. But if I'm LeBron, I want him in those camps, and if I can get him in them, get him in them. But then the whole narrative went, oh wow, he grew a lot of these camps, and you should have seen him in these camps. So he goes to USC. I heard Steve Lavin talk about this. Like the best thing for him would have been to go to a smaller D1 school, like a mid-tier D1 school, because as you saw, as much as he really killed it in those camps before his freshman year, he had the heart thing, but then he was cleared to play. Collier and the other guard for USC go down, and Bronny James sucks. He's not good. He can't shoot. He proved nothing. He had an opportunity there to prove himself, and he couldn't. So the people that really know about him have not only been saying he should have stayed in school, but he should have transferred to a smaller school.
Yeah.
To a mid-tier D1 program. That he's a D1 basketball. He's a tremendous jumper. Like he's got tremendous physical talent. But he's 6'1", he can't shoot. He's big. He's muscular. But he can't play basketball.
No, and the idea that they're trying to like pay off this narrative with something that is it's not a bad story. The fact it's LeBron James' kid. He can play a little bit. Horrific what happened with his heart issue and the congenital heart thing. But all right, he fixed it. He returned to the court. That's a good enough story. To try and pay it off by saying just a year after this congenital heart and he's drafted into the NBA. Well, you see, now you're ruining it by sprinkling it with BS.
Yeah.
Because the only reason why he got drafted, we know, was to make his father happy. It's not like he made this miraculous recovery and proved himself to be an NBA-worthy talent, because he's not.
Yeah.
And everyone knows that he's not. So why do you have to ruin it by lying about it?
And the worst part is he was only allowed to be taken by one team, the Lakers. His agent was calling around saying, do not pick him.
Okay. So, there was all this like silly goose stuff like, oh, the Celtics should take him and block LeBron James and this, that, and the third. Well, if you thought the draft was just a random series of events, oh no, it's being controlled by special interest.
Bob Myers, you promised at the top of the show that you would have an update for us on Bronny James.
Rich Paul's calling teams, don't take Bronny James. He's telling them, do not take him, okay? He's saying, don't take him. If you take him, he's going to Australia. So he has a plan and he has a place.
But he's not telling the Lakers.
I don't know if he's telling one team that.
Mark Tatum.
Yeah, so what he is he's saying, okay, well, he's going to go play in Australia. So if I'm like, say, the Celtics, I go, great, go play in Australia. What do I care? You're not going to play for me anyway. Like, I'm just doing this to be a dick. And if I was Danny Ainge, maybe he would have. You could see Danny Ainge taking Bronny James just to be a dick. Yeah. But no. Of course you don't care that he's going to play in Australia because you had no intention of playing him anyway. The thing is that now Clutch Sports says, oh, all our free agents, none of them will go to you in free agency. Also, if we represent any draft prospects, they won't work out for you. We'll pull a whole thing, and you'll never get Clutch Sports. So Clutch Sports is basically strong-arming the league into not taking Bronny James because his dad's team is taking him as a favor.
And I have to say, how much does it say about Bronny James that his next stop is going to be Australia? I mean, shouldn't he be going to the Euro leagues or one of these major leagues if he's NBA ready?
I don't even think he was going to go to Australia. I think that he was going to sit around in Southern California at his dad's house. I mean, I really do. And played around there. I just played pickup games around there. I don't think he had any intention of going to Australia. He doesn't need money.
I don't even know if that was a basketball reference. He might have said he's
just hanging out.
He's going to go to Siberia. Yeah. You won't find him.
Yeah,
he's going to go to the other side of the world.
He's going to go to Australia. Like, okay, yeah, well, we weren't taking him to like actually have him play. You understand he's not good at basketball.
Adrian Wojnarowski says, don't get too concerned about these calls of nepotism in the NBA.
I don't want to hear these charges, people talking about nepotism. No, the NBA is full of nepotism. Full of it. The ownership level, front offices, coaching. Yep. I don't want to hear it all of a sudden because of Bronny James' father plays for the Lakers. Right. It is rampant in this league.
That is and at the same, no, go ahead.
Okay, what does that have to do? Can he play basketball or not? That's no defensive. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it from who? So if I own a team and die and give it to my son as an inherited asset, that's the same thing as my dad making a team drafting me to play basketball. Nepotism on that level would be if I'm the owner of the team and I put my son on the basketball team.
Yeah, it's like assistant to the traveling secretary. Yeah, that's my nephew. It's not really a job. Wait a second. What about in coaching? Yeah, he's there with us during practice. I gave him an assistant coaching job. He's not with us on the bench. He's not drawing up plays. Oh, what about being drafted by the team with one of their 2 draft picks? Yeah, that's a little bit. I think that's a little bit more. I think it's okay to call for a little bit of nepotism on that one.
And by the way, nepotism in coaching is someone who you would guess grew up around the game, learned the game inside out, has had connections with coaching and been around the game their entire lives. So maybe that would even be an advantage to being a good coach. Having your dad be good at basketball, other than genetics, has no effect on whether or not you are going to be an NBA player.
Right.
These guys are really so badly don't want to piss off Clutch Sports. ESPN, they don't. Even Stephen A. Smith, who had been very, very critical of Bronny James after the draft, changed his tune.
You know what the most exciting part is? You got a guy, LeBron James, entering his 40th year on this earth. That's going to be more hyped, more inspired, arguably, than ever before to pull something out of his hat because he's excited. You know, you talk about something that rejuvenates you, that makes your legs a little bit more spry and you be a bit more energized. Can it get any better than this? Your son is on the squad. You're still a superstar in this game, and you got an opportunity to go out there and do your thing and set the stage for him to come in years and years to come. It's going to be special.
Well, it's
found a youth. He found it.
Yeah, how is LeBron James? How is he setting the stage for Bronny James doing anything? Bronny James, unless LeBron makes him play him, Bronny James is never playing in the NBA at any point when LeBron James is still in it.
He might sit on the end of the bench, but I think that's about as good as it gets.
And then that's taking, I guess it's like Giannis's brother.
Could they just put him out there for a second in the first game? Just have him go out there and have LeBron either pass him the ball once or have Bronny pass the ball once to his dad and just get it over with. There, you did it.
Yeah.
You played together in the NBA. The moment we've all been waiting for. Great, now it's done. Now the charade is over. Forget it.
But if you're Bronny James, at every practice and everything you're doing, in the back of your mind, you have to know you don't deserve to be there. The back of your mind the entire time is, and you might be thinking to yourself, well, I'll prove him wrong, but you know you're not supposed to be there.
No, and that's why I agree with you from the beginning that this was the worst thing that LeBron could have done for his son if he really wants him to be a professional basketball player. You don't give him a leg up to this extent where he's going to be drafted by the Lakers and somehow expected to fulfill that expectation, because he can't do it. He's physically and just talent-wise incapable of living up to that standard. He can't do it.
Yeah, it's like if you have a kid that wants to do something, you give him all the assets you can afford to. You take your time. You put him in front of the right people. Listen, if you have connections that can help him, get looked at and this, that, and the third, I'd imagine you do all those things. But there's a certain time where you're just like, it's out of your hands. There's a certain time where you're not involved anymore, where someone else takes the ball. Usually that's when they go, I don't know, to college. And then, the program kind of, takes the kid over from there. Some people, it's high school. Like the kid goes to high school, and then that coach kind of becomes the mentor. Not often the NBA. His whole life he's gonna feel like he didn't deserve any of this stuff. It's a kind of a shame. And what if he's only 19 years old? What if he would have played 4 years in college, ended up making a Sweet 16, Elite 8?
Yeah.
What if he, and then he had that going, got caught on with an NBA team, and then, ended up living his dream that way? I mean, never say never.
I'm going to go with Bronny James thinks that he's the greatest, and he doesn't worry about stuff like that.
Yeah, but even that kind of blind narcissism can get checked pretty quickly. I think that I mean, he's dealing with other LeBron Jameses now that are not connected to his father. I don't know.
Somebody brought up one just final point on this. It will be interesting to see how J.J. Redick handles it because we've already seen he's not real patient with the media. Doesn't seem to have like a whole lot of tolerance for being asked the same question over and over again. Like, oh, I don't know. When is Bronny going to get called up and play with the big team? Like, like how many times does he get asked that before he loses his mind?
Yeah, and it's like, how many times does he do that until he just goes, whenever LeBron says. Whenever LeBron makes a big enough stink about it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be the honest. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm so honest right now. I really do apologize. All right, here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
this is just a neighborhood front porch, and let us pour you a glass of lemonade and just take a seat.
Where is it? Anytown, USA.
That's right.
It's shooting the breeze. Shooting the breeze. Shooting the breeze.
And that will be coming up at 8 o'clock. So it depends on your phone calls. If you don't call in, I'm not going to do it. I won't do it. By the way, the NBA draft grades are out. Boston Celtics with a B+.
Nice.
Oh,
with all 8 players who saw at least 20 minutes of action, the NBA Finals under contract, the Celtics had the luxury of drafting with an eye forward toward a couple of years down the road. Given that framework, I would have preferred a swing on Kansas forward Johnny Furphy, who's 4 years younger than the 23-year-old Shireman. Still, it's easy to see how Shireman's shooting and hand size will fit in Boston much the same way Sam Hauser does now. There's a lot of the Sammy Hauser comparisons going on. The Celtics took another experienced player in round 2, Gonzaga forward Anton Watson. Watson offers defensive versatility and shot 41% from 3 as a fifth-year senior, albeit on just 51 attempts. So there you go.
Second most steals in Gonzaga history behind John Stockton.
Johnny Stocks, before that was even a program, baby. Johnny Stocks was wearing high shorts and making it happen out there. Good for Johnny Stocks. You get one of those blue blood programs, like the Gonzaga. You take a fifth-year kid out of there, you figure he was coached well. You got to like that. But, your Detroit Pistons, a C+.
Well, I picked that one kid who hasn't really done all that much in terms of playing basketball very well.
Yeah.
With that pick, where'd they pick 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They took a kid who apparently can't shoot. That was the big mission for Detroit there.
Is he a tall fella?
No.
Not particularly. I think he's like 6'6", 6'7".
That's not good.
Yeah, he's a guard who can't shoot.
Oh.
He said the biggest question is adding another non-shooter to a Detroit team already lacking in that skill, including last year's number 5 pick, Osar Thompson. The Pistons may be counting heavily on internal growth led by new assistant coach Fred Vincent. You got to figure once you hire Vincent, everyone starts putting him down more. Freddie Vince, the Vince man, the Vince Master General. Ugh.
I wish I still cared enough to be upset by it and by who they selected, but I can't
No.
get myself there.
No. I find it very with stuff like with what happened to Bronny James, I find it very difficult to root for the NBA. I just find it very difficult. Like, it's just everyone's friends. The agencies mean more than the teams. The players mean more than the owners. It just is amazing to me.
I think at some point it might take a couple of years, and I do appreciate what the Celtics did now. I think I'll end up appreciating it more a couple of years from now when you think back and say, oh, yeah, that team in 24, how did they do it? They did it by having a bunch of guys play really well and play good defense, and Jaylen Brown ended up being MVP. But, yeah, Tatum made a run at it at the end, and Derek White played well, and Porzingis showed up in the first game until he couldn't go anymore. You could just say enough good things about enough good players to where you can feel good. I think we'll continue to feel good about that championship, the one they just won, as more time goes on. Because right now it's a bit underwhelming because they were so dominant in the postseason. It might take some time to truly appreciate like how good like the team was, as opposed to just the one or two other guys. Because most of the NBA, as you said, ends up being like these individual pursuits about this guy getting his or this guy getting his son onto the team. Like, how do you root for that?
The whole Lakers thing is ridiculous. I don't know how you own the Los Angeles Lakers. That is this, multi-billion dollar conglomerate that you own. That it's 1A in Los Angeles, in a town that is the center of the entertainment universe, and that you let a 40-year-old man do whatever he wants, and he won you one title in the bubble, and then ever since then they haven't done anything. And then you hire the moron that he once hired, even though you hired a coach with no qualifications based on a 40-year-old player, and you drafted his kid with 0 qualifications to be on the team. I mean, you just handed your team over to LeBron James, and then the rest of the league had to play along Because if you took Bronny James, nobody from Clutch Sports would work with you.
Right.
So the NBA isn't even a big enough league. Clutch Sports is bigger than the league.
Yeah. They're holding them hostage.
They're holding the league hostage. And so it's just everything that happens is ridiculous. So the draft essentially last night was rigged. I know it doesn't matter. I know it's the second round. It's not going to be like a movie one day. But it is essentially, if you get down to it, the draft was rigged last night. The draft did not fall. It was not a matter of teams picking the player that they necessarily wanted. And even at the top of the draft, if a team at the top of the draft, and it's happened in football before, a player, but it's usually like the best player in the draft, and they say, I'm not going to play for that team.
Right.
You go get the picks and switch things around and make it so I play somewhere else. And that's a dangerous game, but that can happen.
Sure.
But the 55th pick in a 2-round draft, calling around the league and saying, don't take him, or he's going to Australia, and you go, great, go to Australia.
Yeah,
Screw you.
We weren't going to take him anyway, Rich. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, like I'm not going to pay him, so then I don't have to even pay him G League money. Well, by the way, if you do that, then no free agents that are going to come, and then everybody you try to draft from us is going to play for you. Great stuff that the NBA's got going.
Yeah, which when it comes down to it, are players not going to go to the Knicks or Boston because Rich Paul says so? I mean, so.
It's enough of a pain in the ass where you're like, is it worth doing this? Is it worth taking this kid? I mean, but look, Mike Piazza was taken as a favor to the owner of the Dodgers, and he became a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Now, he did the roids, but I mean, and he had a cool mustache and loved Creed. But that's beyond the point. But that was the last pick in an NBA or in a Major League Baseball draft with like 70 rounds.
Yeah,
that was like when you can actually take jokes. Like I think like owners have taken their daughters and stuff in like the last round.
Yeah.
Like okay, very good enough. Not a 2-round draft.
No,
it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's like a JV league, and they're gonna force him on there, and then they have that prick as a coach, and they even tried to hire. By the way, the Danny Hurley hiring was probably based on Bronny too, because they probably thought, who's the best guy that we could find at developing young players and developing guys? Because look at the draft, like the UConn's like filled these last 2 drafts up.
Sure,
they probably went Danny Hurley, but at least that makes sense. And then they couldn't get them to say, I'll just take his friend.
Yeah, and then eventually, I think LeBron's going to end up being the coach. I really do. Every coach gets fired. He doesn't like any of them. Maybe in a year or two.
You think you think he's player coach or coach?
Coach. Because he's not far from retiring. A year or two, maybe.
Man, that coach thing might feel too much like work for him or anybody.
He's LeBron. He just has to show up.
My patience with that, though, is zero.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen big time, like Magic Johnson. I mean, we've seen heroes coach teams and get tossed out pretty quickly.
Yeah, Larry Bird.
But front office, Larry Bird was all right.
Yeah.
Let him run the front office. All right. It's that time. It's the Friday. It's a summer day going into vacation. What are the rules? There are no rules, man. This is getting together at the post office and sitting on the front porch and just nodding. What's the topic? There's no topic, man. This is what the radio's all about. This is about people connecting.
I think this is what I needed to get me more in the right mindset for what is about to happen. Give me a little bit more. Give me another place. Is this kind of like me hanging out, bothering the guy who's there to install a windshield? Maybe I'm just asking about the suction cups that he's using. We're just
no bothering in this.
Yeah, I was going to say the thing, Mike.
No,
you used a term that we don't use around here. Bother.
Is this maybe just taking a moment with before I bring the recycling cans in? Like, hey, neighbor, what's going on?
Look at the fat.
Look at us out here at the same time doing the same thing. Why don't we sit a spell?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always suggest everyone, if they're riding in their car, pull over, close your eyes, and just picture yourself in Margaritaville with a nice cheeseburger. And just sit around and say whatever's on your mind.
Are you angry that it's taken a while for the burger to come out? No,
we're on Jamaica time.
That's right. As Dan O'Brien would call it, we're on Maui time. It's different.
Maui time means lay on your stomach. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. 617-779-0985.
I was going to try, but
Thank you so much, Daniel. 617-779-0985. Call in! We can't do the segment if you don't. It's shooting...
NBA. The power forward Anton Watson from Gonzaga in the second round. Watson leaves as a fifth-year senior. Bronny James with the following pick to the Lakers at 55. The Red Sox are back at it tonight as the San Diego Padres are in town for a weekend series. First pitch, 7:10. Nick Pivetta gets the start for the Red Sox. Boston is currently 43-37 on the season. They sit 7.5 games behind New York and Baltimore in the American League East. In fact, Hardy, let's check in with your bets with Kendra there. Toronto beats New York 9-2. That's a win. Baltimore wins 11-2. That's a win for you. And then Philadelphia loses to Miami 7-4. So that's a loss, my friend.
You mean on my actual bets?
Yes.
Where the outcome was somehow in doubt?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the 1-2 lost one.
2 out of 3.
Okay.
2 out of 3, so not bad. And the New England Revolution are back on the pitch tomorrow night at Gillette against the Columbus Crew. Kickoff at 7:30. Sports Hub Headlines are brought to you by 128 Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric, the company that finishes every job strong. Call 128 Plumbing now at 128.com. Or 128 something. All right. A lot of 1s, 2s, and 8s here. Call 128.com or something. Yeah. All right. Mike Lockhart, Boston Home for Sports 98.5 Sports.
To us, Boston pride runs deep.
I'm a Bostonian!
This is Boston's home for sports.
Bow, bow, bow!
98.5, the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us every morning on YouTube, including very handsome Mike Lockhart today. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. All right, Hardy, you've never had the pleasure, but this relies entirely on phone calls. It's kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
It's not a bit, a segment. It's a vibe. It's a way of life. It's called Shooting the Breeze.
Shooting the breeze, shooting the breeze, shooting the breeze.
Shooting the breeze, shooting the breeze.
Shooting the breeze.
Oh.
Reminds me of Banner 18.
That's what I think of when I hear this song.
Shooting the breeze.
I mean, yeah, everything makes me think of Tyler Milliken's cousin's cousin. Just his bright future. So kick off your shoes and grab the phone and sit a spell. 617-779-0985. Rules? The only rules is there are no rules. Nevin, hello.
Hello, fellas. It is breeze shooting time. I figured what better time than now to clue you in on the blockbuster event of the summer. You ready to hear this?
I'm ready, baby.
It's going to be Fred Toucher versus Don and Carver versus Mark Gemelli versus the one and only BMX Nut in a fatal four-way Saugus' own Tyler Faith on a pole match. Only McMahon could book it.
Hey, you're going to have to work with my promoter. Now you're saying Don from Carver, who has threatened me physically. He's
That's
80.
one.
You were saying the BMX Nut who went on my Instagram page when it was like something about just like Hardy talking, and he was like, Fred's a pervert.
2.
That's 2. You were saying the third one into
Mark
the match
Gemelli.
is Mark Gemelli, who is we have not heard from in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
He does post on Nick's kids' Facebook page. And then Tyler Faith, the great Tyler Faith, who I was told at one point was interested in me, but now is engaged to a man in the Hells Angels.
Oh, don't go there then.
No. No, thank you.
Shooting the breeze, shooting the breeze, shooting the breeze, shooting the breeze.
All right, 617-779-0985. Dave, go ahead, my friend.
So first, a quick show recommendation, Trial and Error. It's on Amazon. It's fantastic. So, and then a quick observation in light of everything going on in the world with the Karen Reed trial and Biden and everything. I did a Google search recently, and Dirk Benedict wasn't quite as handsome as we remember him.
Dirk Benedict is from, of course, Battlestar Galactica, and at one point was the poor man's Han Solo, and you're telling me now he's not good looking?
No, he's a good-looking guy, but I mean, remember, he was face. Like, he was like the gold standard of Hamsemnity in the 80s, and he's not as handsome as we remember. Do it. Google. You'll see.
If you could have been anyone on the A-team, who would you have been? Would you have been Murdoch, the wild card? Would you have been the brawn of Mr. T? Would you have been Hannibal, the brains of the operation?
I would have been face, of course, but, it's like when an athlete over time gets pumped up and you think of them as being greater than they were,
Yeah. The problem with face, though, is at the end of the day, sometimes, even though he was old, the cigar chomping Hannibal would get himself a broad at the end. There's no.
He says, "How do you stay so tan?" This kid's asking me.
Shooting the breeze.
617. See?
What a wango tango.
Yeah. Mike made him. That's one of our homies, dude. That's one of our bros. Both Nugent and the Eck.
What the hell?
When he was with the Calabucci twins, you don't think he was playing Wango Tango while they wanged his tang?
On repeat.
All right, 617-779-0985. Don't get loose. Get juiced. Ben, go ahead.
Freddie, baby.
Hey, Benjamin.
Lots of love to the Twitch Nation. Is this not the best day? One day before your vacation. I mean, we're hearing the new iteration. If something ever would have happened to Wallach, like he gets sucked up by an Airbus engine or something, accidentally, of course. But, I'm going to go cut the grass today. I'm going to relax. I might go to a hardware store and just look at pieces of 2x4 and think of Hardy.
Oh, now you got his brain going.
Absolute.
So and I have been shooting the here. 617.
Oh,
hey, dump it. Shooting the breeze.
Yeah. Gary you were around. Gary could not stop swearing.
Yeah.
He was a big problem swearing.
He lost his mind on a couple of occasions. And I mean, seriously, I saw somebody to see someone blow their top and really lose control of themselves multiple times inside of 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
That actually reminds me of myself a little bit. But to the point where other people in the room were like, holy crap, is he okay?
Yeah.
We say that about you.
Well, he walked into one of the crossovers and told Fred to go F off
Fair enough.
while the mics were on.
Yeah. He would, and the best is when he would swear, because when you usually have to catch yourself from swearing, you're getting upset about something. He would just go like, hey, it's Tango and effing Zolak. What? Like, right, that one we just played. It's like, yeah, we're just shooting
What the
S. He's like, we're just shooting the S. What? Hey, what? Dump it. You know what you do, Fred, is you take your 401k, you cash it in, and you redo your kitchen. Pay the penalty, man.
Yeah.
He told me that one day. I'll never forget it. Jake, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Freddie T?
Hey, what's up, Jake?
Hey, I'd just like to say hi to Gotti also.
What about me?
So, hey, there's a lot of conspiracies in our area, and I got one even bigger than Karen Reed. I got it bigger than anything.
Ooh.
Have you ever seen those DraftKings commercials? No, it's not DraftKings. It's the cash back things with Steph Curry and Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Well, there's this tall, goony guy in the back with long hair, and I believe he is a genetic experiment using the DNA of Jay Stu and one Kelly Olynyk.
All right.
Nothing. I just stopped by to chat, shoot the breeze.
Let's take a look at
All right. A tall guy in Kevin Hart Chase commercial is what I've found. Oh, yeah. Ooh. I see what you're saying. He looks a little bit like the handsome guy that they hired in The Office during that, when it was the good salesman. All right, John, go ahead, sir.
Freddie T, how you doing, my
What's
friend?
up, Johnny boy?
Howdy, this is what it's about. We're sitting on the patio under the trees, shooting the breeze.
Okay, all right.
You said it, sir.
Freddie, I always thought it was sad that Robert Reed never fully embraced his Mike Brady character. I mean, he came across as a regular dad to me, and, he just thought it was a role beneath him, and I always thought it was sad he just never took full advantage of that.
Well, can I take you? I'll disagree with you a bit about that. Do you remember Julia Dreyfus's short-lived sitcom? She was on a sitcom where she played a lawyer trying to convince someone to come back to work. And you'll also remember Mr. Brady, one Christmas, trapped under the rubble of an architectural project he raised a lot of red flags on, and it took the hymns that the people were singing to get him out of there. Do you understand?
Yeah. No OSHA in those days, apparently.
No, there were not. It was just one rogue good guy to help out with that thing. But, sir,
That's correct.
So I think he did. The show was called Day by Day, and there was a Brady Bunch episode that will go down in history.
I didn't know where he was going about Robert Reed and not, really embracing everything and then bringing it enough to the character. I thought it was going in a different situation.
Oh, He was no bear.
No, he was as hairless as the day is long. He had a perm.
Yes, he did.
Whatever subset has perms. Eric, maybe the Daltrees. Eric, go ahead.
Hey, boys, what's going on? It's a beautiful, cloudless day out here, and I'm actually in Woburn right now, not Saugus, but...
see Adam 12 shuffling down the road, heading to the swimming hole there for a little morning swim, taking a dip?
Well, it's funny, Hardy, you say that. I actually have a pool-sized swimming hole next to my United Rentals branch out here, and I know you met me back in the day when I was a NASCAR mechanic, but I've taken on a whole new life here back in Boston where I work at a rental house. We got chainsaws, generators, skid steers, bobcats, the whole nine. And I thought what a cool day it would be to get, Hardy, I'm a golfer like you, and we got a lot in common. I'm like, why don't we get Hardy down here on a beautiful day?
Right.
He could drive around some of our bobcats and skid steers, mess around with some of the equipment. It would be like heaven.
Yeah, you have vacation. You're not going nowhere.
Are you the owner or at the very least the manager of this facility?
No, Hardy, I'm not.
Okay,
but,
so you're going to get fired.
No. We got a special guest. Special promotion for the radio show. We got Hardy down here operating some equipment, testing out. It'd be beautiful.
Could possibly go wrong.
Eric, you were at the tournament, the golf tournament, weren't you?
Yes, Fred. That was in fact me, and I know we've divulged some information about some people together and some interesting information.
Some very disappointing information,
Uh-oh.
Eric from Saugus.
Oh no,
very disappointing.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how you look at it. But
yeah, I guess so. It's maybe saved my life. All right.
Yeah, I'm just here for you, baby. I'm just here to look out for old Freddie T, baby.
All right. Thank you, Eric. We appreciate it.
Shooting the breeze about philosophy, the Italians, my Uncle Eckley.
All right. And finally, what could be better than having Gary? Hello, Gary in New Hampshire.
Hey, it's my segment, boys. How we doing this morning?
Hello, Gary. How are you?
Yeah. Fabulous. Thank you. I hate politics now. I don't want to deal with this anymore. So looking for gigs. If I can commentate, this Tyler Faith event and, Hardy driving around some machinery, I'm all about it. You guys want to sign me up?
This can't be the real Gary Tanguay because Gary Tanguay is indeed hosting a political talk show next week.
Yeah.
On WBZ radio, AM radio.
Ooh.
So remember, no one forget, this needs to be taped because this is a week's worth of content.
What time is it on?
I think he's on at 8:00 at night.
Okay.
And when anything goes, safe harbor, bitches. All right. You can't stop me now.
Train to Hoo-Haville.
You know what?
Population Gare Bear.
Biden's too old. Someone had to say it. He was up there sleeping. Huh? All right, next one. Round two. Round two. All right. Hey, Supreme Court, you got more leaks than Biden's diaper. Hey, I wrote that. All right, now, next one. Abortion, more like samortion. Am I right? It's a bunch of crap. All right, your calls.
Yeah.
Your calls now. All right, very good. Hardy, you've experienced a summer day before vacations, summer book, Shooting the Breeze.
How about that?
Yep, you have survived it. All right, we'll be back.
Is Gary Tangway asking people to do the show for him like he did his class? Or
No. They need me.
He's gonna have scheduled guests calling in, though. There's no way he's gonna sit there and actually work and depend on nothing but phone calls for that amount of time.
Hey, fatso.
Which
Yeah, I got a new work of erotic fiction. The fill-in who filled it in.
She slung the soaked limb over her shoulder and waded back towards the beach.
Hey, wait a second. There's not supposed to be anyone else in this studio. Hey, you're the babe that just called in about the debate. What are
Now
you doing
Rocky
to my...
had a cut-off leg to deal with.
Those are my trousers. What? My Lord. Every part of your body. Ah!
What the f***?
Never felt this way before.
Shooting the breeze. Shooting the breeze.
It's my prostate. All right, very good. Shooting the breeze, baby. Remember Bobby Robbins, the big-time fighter that the Bruins had? He got a cup of coffee up at the Major League, National Hockey League level. We will be talking to him at 9 o'clock. He's got a new book out. Also, Hardy has plans for this evening involving a fan favorite, and we will have that for you in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
When dealing with the issue of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical. In general.
Kind of doing this.
Nick you do this.
Nick put a couple in.
Yeah,
so.
you should do this. This station.
I know, this I want to loop a little bit.
The station, I don't even care what it is, but the station needs to really freshen things up.
Everyone, songs that popped up on my Spotify playlist yesterday.
Good. Play whatever you want because this station needs a nice refresh. Everything needs to be, it needs a week of work of everyone going in. And
we're all going on vacation at 10 o'clock.
Not us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
not us. It's not my, what Felger and Maz sounds like is not is not our responsibility. What the station sounds like is not our responsibility. It's not Felger and Maz's responsibility. It's the responsibility of others. There has to be a unified sound of the station. And that sound has not changed in 10 years. I find it very frustrating. Let's get it, not so much articles. Focus on the sound of the radio station. All right.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
I think that's the last time we made a change with anything. Was the 98.5
The Sports Hub.
That was a mistake. That from the very beginning.
So apparently I was told by Jim Louth that we have many of those, and that was like the best one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you recall, WFAN sounded terrible.
Yeah.
Like WFAN sounded really bad. Like it sounded like a corny AM station. And but it was a huge hit. So when CBS Radio owned us and WFAN, so when they made us, they wanted to use all the same stuff.
Right.
You were sitting in that room when they played all the new imaging for us and all the new production. And I guess Tangway would have been there, and Solak, and Felger and Maz. And like sitting there, and they were playing like, some of the stuff was just like normal sounding. 98.5, the Sports Hub. But then that one came across just like that. No other element to it. Just 98.5, the Sports Hub.
98.5, the Sports Hub.
And we all started laughing. And do you remember how pissed I got? Like, it's not funny. It's not a joke. We're using that. Oh, God.
Well, in fairness to them, they got rid of it quick because I think every single one of us went on the air. This is terrible. Like on the air. Like I don't want to be associated with this. This is a real bad idea. Yeah. Yes. Go ahead.
98.5 The Golf Club.
That's a Mark Feldman production. I can hear Feldman's voice in that.
I can hear the crying.
98.5 The Golf Club.
I like the meditative bell that rings at the beginning of it.
98.5 The Golf Club.
All right, so Lockhart is big. He writes about the draft every year. He does all those things. When do you start focusing on the NFL? If you notice, we didn't have Bert Breer on this week because there was nothing to talk about. When do you start focusing?
Couple weeks, probably I'd say end of July.
All right,
like that.
That's when you can start seeing how teams are forming. They're in camp. The preseason's beginning. All those things. By the way, the antitrust lawsuit that the NFL just lost to DirecTV because they said that they were gouging people for a Sunday ticket could cost them conceivably billions of dollars, and all of us who had DirecTV Sunday ticket could be receiving money, and I don't think that's ever going to happen. The way that it sounds to me is this: if they were to ever pay, it would be I'd probably long be dead.
Yeah, you get like a $27 check in the mail in like a decade.
Yeah, like a decade. Yeah. I'm talking about like 20 years. I'm talking about like good luck finding me. Like that I don't know where you think you're going to find me, but I heard one man talking about it. Mike Florio was on the radio yesterday, and he was talking about. He broke this down. Did you guys know? Mike Florio said when he was an attorney, he said, federal judges were appointed by the President of the United States. And I went, well, now we've got a civics lesson handed to us. Mike Florio is a real idiot. He really is. And so he goes, and then he goes, I don't want to get political. But conservative judges usually take the side of corporations, while liberal judges usually take the side of individuals. And I went,
this down.
And I went, what's the point of going to law school? I mean, this guy just broke it down for me. And meanwhile, Maddox's like, interesting, okay. Like, you're really in the weeds there, huh? Like, all right, from the battlegrounds. But nonetheless, in all their wisdom, Chris Sims, who said that Zach Wilson was a better quarterback prospect than Trevor Lawrence, this is the people at Pro Football Talk, and they have announced their power rankings.
All right, so you want to start from the back end?
More of like let's guess Did you see these, Mike?
No, I have not.
Okay, neither have I. Let's more guess the back end of them, and then see where we go.
All right, who's at 32?
I'm going to guess the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I'd go to the same. Yep.
That's right, horse.
Okay. I don't know why Jay Stu has this, but why not?
That's my next book. Only sold in Germany.
Who's at number 31?
The New England Patriots.
I would, I would go with Patriots there, too.
That's correct.
Correct. Now go join the United Nations, bright boy.
I can't remember what game this was for.
It was for wrestler porn star.
Okay. Yeah. Take any three teams from 28 to 30 now. We've got Panthers, Patriots, Cardinals in there, yes.
Giants.
Number 30. Giants, number 28. Who's in the middle of the Giants and the Cardinals?
Not Chicago.
Titans.
Wrong again, James Earl Ray.
Jesus.
You know, there was several... All right, let me see. Who would be there?
The Bears are all the way up at 17.
Yeah,
by the way.
This is Pro Football Talk. They're trying to get you. We're doing what they want us to do. I'm guessing in the second half of it.
Number 29,
the
very
Raiders?
bad team. Raiders are at number 26.
Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos are 22.
The Saints.
The Saints are number 24.
We're sniffing around the area.
I hope neither one of you have said it yet, because I'm going to feel like a real dodo bird.
Go ahead. Who is it?
The Washington Commanders.
I always forget their team.
I always forget their team, too. Jaden Daniels' team. Okay.
All right, Freddie, where do your precious New York Jets fall?
Okay, if I was making the thing, I was making the thing, I would have the Jets. Let's see. I would have them behind Baltimore. I'd have them behind Cincinnati. I'd have them behind Kansas City. I'd have them like 10th.
I'd say like 14.
Wrong answer. Everyone must die.
Okay. 25. Jets are number 25 on the Pro Football Talk.
Out of how many teams?
2024 pre-camp edition.
Out of how many teams?
32. 32.
They weren't the 25th. They weren't the 25th worst team last year, and they had the worst quarterback in the league. If Rodgers gets hurt, at least they have what's his face to come in.
Yeah.
What the guy? Tyrod Taylor is their backup. They're not going under 500 with Tyrod Taylor. No. I can assure you of that. That's him. Lawyers work in courtrooms.
Well, we've mentioned pretty much every team except for maybe the Colts didn't get mentioned at 18. Seahawks are number 21. So let's go to the first
Kansas
half
City,
of the list now.
Kansas City's number 1.
That is correct.
Right answer, but you're still the wrong color.
Life me, I can't remember all the nuances of this game. All right, Chiefs are number 1. Who's number 2?
49ers.
49ers number 2.
Lions are number 3.
Yes.
That's right, horse.
That's right.
Lions are number 3.
Philadelphia Eagles at 4.
Wrong, you racist pig.
No. Philadelphia Eagles are number 5, behind the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are number 4.
See, I figured with the Saquon Barkley edition, Pro Football Focus would go wild over the Eagles.
I'm surprised at number 6. I really am.
Is it Cincinnati?
It is not Cincinnati.
Is it
Cincinnati is number 8.
Okay. Oh, so you're surprised. Is it Dallas?
Dallas all the way down at 16. Ooh, are you wrong on that one?
Ah, boy.
Incorrect, David Duke.
Well, it's true. I am pretty racist. I am a neo-Nazi.
I love the fact that these have nothing to do with the power rankings.
I love that you're playing them. It's a perfect thing. We're doing a dumb power rankings thing, and you have Jay Stu saving the day.
That's right.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, number 9.
Oh, my God. What? Who's their quarterback?
Baker Mayfield.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they made the playoffs. Okay.
Who is the 6th best team according to the 2024 Pro Football Talk pre-camp power ranking?
And it
goes Chiefs, 49ers, Lions, Ravens, Eagles, then who?
The Rams? The Bills?
Wrong again, James Earl Ray.
I have no. I don't know.
The Bills. No.
I
Bills
forgot
are number
to-
7.
Oh.
It's not the Dolphins.
Wrong answer. Everyone must die.
All right, who is it? I don't know.
The Green Bay Packers.
Of course it is. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan Love.
Correct.
Hey.
Now go join the United Nations, bright boy.
Yeah, they're in
Bills-
that Lions division where they'll Jesus Christ.
I know. Bills are number 7. Bengals are 8. Buccaneers are 9. Texans 10. Dolphins 11. And then we've got Browns, Rams, and the one team I don't think actually the 2 teams we haven't mentioned at all. Vikings were 23.
Sammy D.
I think Sammy D is going to work out.
I think Sammy D is going to be all right too. I think he's better than McCarthy.
Just 2 teams barely cracking the top half of the pre-camp power rankings.
The Colts.
Colts are at 18.
Not the Texans. The
couple of
Giants.
AFC teams.
Oh, the Chargers.
Chargers are correct.
I'm surprised.
That's right,
that Houston
horse
hasn't been mentioned. They are a hot up and coming team.
Chargers are at number 15,
Texans.
and one more AFC team. Texans are number 10.
Okay. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
20.
All right. I don't know. Very
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
You got it right. Now go make some minority friends.
Well, make up your mind. Am I David Duke or am I going to make minority friends? Hardy has got big plans tonight. He's going to be at a big rock show at a church, and he'll explain. And
I'll try to. No, I'm not going to try to explain.
all right, he'll just let you know what's going on.
Well-
We'll have you there. We'll have that for you in just a moment.
Sports Hub headline.
Why Art, as you are going to be out there at A7 on the Lower East Side tonight, opening up for Agnostic Front. You and the youth of today are going to take, and Judge are going to take your straight edge to the people.
Something very close to that, no. Joining us now, Robbie Road Steamer making a triumphant return to the stage tonight. Robbie, thanks for being on the show.
Hell yeah, hard bark. It's time we bring the attitude and the swagger back to Boston.
Tell me about that. What is this show tonight? What's going on with this show tonight?
Basically, I'm reforming my band, the Sweatpant Boners. Boners, we can say that now, right?
I don't know.
I know after Janet Jackson got exposed on the Super Bowl, we weren't allowed to say anything cool on the radio anymore. But that's my band. And tonight, we're taking over a church in Brookline. DM for the address on Robbie Road Steamer, Instagram, Facebook, and I will give you the coordinates. Sweatpant Boners, we're going to make Boston again.
Wait, why can't you give out the address to the church now?
Well, because it's a DIY show and we have to curate. You know, we don't want to have any Antifa presence. We don't. The cops hate DIY in this town. They'll let Aaron Hernandez shoot like 5 people in front of rumors, but God forbid you go above 80 decibels on a house show.
Okay. So people literally have to message you on social media to find out where the show is tonight.
Yeah, it's in Brookline. It's a huge church. Don't be afraid to DM either me or the people who are hosting it. Cuck Zine. Cuck, C-U-K. They put out a zine every month. This is the future of the Boston music scene. A bunch of 18 to 22-year-olds, they're bringing it back, just the way the Rumble used to be before ZLX, and everybody made it lame. It's a weekend warrior WrestleMania now, the Rumble. We need a new thriving scene of debauchery.
Robbie, how does a Sweatpant Boners show differ from a Robbie Road Steamer show?
Well, the Robbie Road Steamer show was kind of swish, was kind of lame, artsy. I had a piano player up there, thought he was Billy Joel. The Sweatpant Boners, this is the original ingredients from high school. Danvers High School, class of 95. Go away. And it's my best friend, Ken Susi from As I Lay Dying, who toured all over the world. And we are reuniting high school buddies to reform the band that saved the Boston music scene from the Dresden Dolls and terrible art bands. Boston wanted to go all artsy and weird for a little while. Strap-ons, fingerless gloves. It's time to bring back the attitude. I'm pissed.
Okay, could you give us an example of a Sweatpant Boners song maybe we could play here and give people an idea of what they'll hear tonight?
Oh, heck yeah. The song is called Pee With Your Father. And it's time again, instead of kids going to taking oxys, fingerless gloves, going to all-night raves where they chase each other around with egg beaters, it's time to get back to rock and roll, your roots. Peeing with your father, taking HGH, supporting the...
Yeah, that's, and he's in his band tonight, yeah.
As I Lay Dying is a big metal band.
I think he used to be in, is it Ken Susi? I think so. And he used to be in Unearth. Yeah. Yeah, he used to be in Unearth and currently in As I Lay Dying.
Now, the Sweatpant Boners, is Robbie Road Steamer Robbie Road Steamer in the
Yes.
Sweatpant Boners?
Yes.
Okay, so he is. So he's become Robbie Road Steamer.
So you will get, I'm sure. I don't know how Robbie Road Steamer shows up for a Sweatpant Boners performance. Robbie Road Steamer and doesn't do his hit, the song that was covered by Corey Taylor of Slipknot.
Cause you kept talking about going to college. So I put a baby in you. Now you got something to do. Wash the baby. Clean the baby. I'm gonna go play Keno.
So, I mean, of course he's going to play I Put a Baby in You tonight.
Well, I mean, the church would be upset if he did not.
Yeah. I would expect him to bring out other Road Steamer songs. I think there's one on A Heart of a Rhino. The title track from A Heart of a Rhino is one of my favorites. But I'm pretty sure the song about his cat, or your cat, Fred, will be in the set tonight.
I'm sorry your cat has house cancer. Kitty's knocking on heaven's door now. I'm sorry your cat has house cancer. Kitty's bum can't take much more now.
He had a real job at Home Depot, didn't he?
Yeah. He had a real job working at Twins at the Red Sox team store, where he really told Louis Tiant he couldn't use the bathroom because he didn't recognize him. He also asked John Lester for his player ID card because Lester had asked for a discount when he came over to buy some stuff for his family. He's like, only players get that. I am a player. Show me some ID. So he had a couple of mishaps while he was working there.
But I do like that there are 18 to 24-year-old kids that are putting together shows, and there's still zines that are around, and that there are shows, underground shows at churches, and that Robbie is a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is exciting. Not everything is gone completely. Some things are still analog.
Sure.
There
I got construction boots. I'm gonna do construction. I got construction boots. I'm gonna do construction. I got construction boots. Let's go out and build a shed.
Well, that's just for you. I mean, that's not even funny. That was just him getting you out of bed when you were depressed.
Do they wear sweatpants on stage, or is there no?
Well, we'll find out tonight.
Okay.
All right, so
At this church.
you were doing the intro at the church.
Right.
Are you wearing sweatpants?
No.
That'd be too on the nose, I think. I mean, he will have an erection.
Robbie requested that I get up there and talk about the Sports Hub Golf Club to the 18 to 20-year-old, as he described as being from, let's say, all walks of life.
Yeah,
okay?
right.
All different...
Yeah, this is a DIY show being in the church basement, so that when the AA meeting's over, they'll kick everyone out and start landing up for the show. I understand what you're saying.
Let's just say everywhere on the spectrum, on the sexual and gender spectrum, he goes, they'll all be there tonight, and they're all 18 to 22 years old.
The disenfranchised youth,
Right.
and they're obviously all up at 7 in the morning, sober, listening to the golf club.
And Robbie asked that I specifically get up there and to talk to them about the Sports Hub Golf Club for a couple of minutes, tell them who's going to be coming up on the show.
You have to tape that. You have to tape that. Please tape that. That's actually really funny.
Yes.
And especially if you just do it as yourself and just dress like as you normally dress and just go, hey, my name's Rob Hardy Poole from the 98.5 The Sports Hub Golf Club, 7 to 8 a.m. on Sundays.
I feel a little silly introducing myself because I'm sure you know.
I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't even play into that. I would just be like, and then just say what's coming up on the show and who you had last week. Go, last week I was live at the Travelers Championship, of course. That was won by blah, blah, blah. And, that was in, and I'll tell you, I walked that course. And, like, you just do it.
For how long? You want to have a bet? Or do you want to give me a mark and see if I can talk for that long?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, just see if you can do 3 minutes.
Ooh. I was gonna say 2.
Yeah, 3. 3's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
realistic but uncomfortable.
Because you got to think the booze start probably 1:20 in, right?
Yeah, right. Well, no, yeah. I mean, I don't even know.
It's a long
It is.
time.
They might think it's funny. The worst thing that can happen is if they think it's funny, like they get it.
I think there'll be a lot of confusion for a while, and then the booze start.
Yeah. All right. If you can do 3 minutes, that would be great. All right. Bobby Robbins is going to join us in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, it's Charlie.
is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. We are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us for this final hour on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. Bobby Robbins played in the NHL, played for the Bruins. He went to UMass Lowell. I talked to him years ago and about his interesting life. He was a big-time fighter. Wasn't the biggest fan of fighting. Had to get himself psyched up to do it. And he's got a book out now. It's called Sex, Drugs, Pucks, and Souls. It's out now, and it's Fighting My Way to the NHL, Losing It All. A sexual journey, potent drugs and visions, a spirit quest, my life, a savage effing story. He joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Bobby Robbins. Hello, sir.
Gentlemen, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's appreciated. You were interesting. Like we don't even interview players a lot, and like active players very often. I mean, so most of them don't want to, but sometimes we don't do it anyway. But even when you played, I found you fascinating, and this book just doubles down because obviously there was so much about you that none of us knew. What was the inspiration? Where to begin?
Yeah, where to begin? I mean, I appreciate, first of all, thanks for having me. And yeah, you guys have always supported me over the years back when I was playing in Providence and Boston. So I do appreciate it. And, I just always tried to be myself out there on the ice and then off the ice as well. I was always writing, and I was writing a blog as I was playing and just documenting my journey and just trying to pour my heart and soul out there. And I was a English writing major at UMass Lowell, and I was playing D1 hockey there, and loved hockey, and that was my dream. I was chasing that NHL dream, but kind of running parallel with that was I just always wanted to be an author, and I always felt that I had some words in me that could make an impact and that were important. And I just knew I had to live out my hockey journey first, and that was going to be the story. And that was always the instinct that I had, and it turned out to be true because it, as you've touched on it, it's a crazy, crazy story. It's a wild ride, and I just decided that I was going to go all in on it and not hold back any punches. And I wanted to write a book that I wanted to read. I love savage things, kind of the, wild stories. I'm a big Hunter S. Thompson fan, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and I was like, if I'm going to write a story, it's going to be the real deal. And so I set out on that about 3 years ago, really seriously digging in, and it emerged. I got those sentences and captured them on the page in the Savage memoir.
It always seems daunting to me, the idea of writing something, especially even if it's your own story in your own life. Like, there's so much there, and there's so much in the book. Where do you begin? How do you start? Is that the toughest part, just as you said, getting those first few sentences down on paper?
Yeah, I mean, it's the journey to really get the book together really took about 7 years. And, shortly after my career ended, it ended pretty abruptly, and there was a lot of craziness going on. I was dealing with some crazy things and mental instability, which I captured in my book. And I knew I had a story to tell. But I think back then, and I think it was probably 2017 when I started putting it down on paper, I wasn't quite ready to have the final form. But I knew I needed to get these words out, and I had such powerful emotions going on. And I just sat down for about a month or two, and I would just sit there at my keyboard, and I had this thing. It's called an Alpha Smart Neo. It's pretty much a digital keyboard for extracting sentences, kind of in a stream of consciousness vomit method, where you just kind of put it all out there and get it out without even editing. And so I had a mission. I was going to write 5,000 words a day for a month. I did that. So I would just puke it all onto the page, and not having any filter, having just wild stuff was pouring out of me. And then I pretty much sat on it for a bunch of years, 3 or 4 years. And I was like, this stuff's way too heavy. Like, I could never publish this kind of stuff. And as I was just going through my life, I was looking back at it. I was like, I think I do have a story to tell. I think this story matters. And I went back and read it, and I had about 120,000 words of just madman stuff. And so it just started, the process for me was just sorting through all that. And that took a long time. And a lot of it was garbage and just threw it out. But there were a lot of little gold nuggets in there. And I gathered those together, and then I kind of had a framework. I was like, all right, here's the story. And it looked pretty clean in 12 chapters. And then it was, so I had pretty much the skeleton of the story. And then I set out on really doing it for about 2.5, 3 years, where I went in there, I went inward and just started chipping away. You know how they say you eat an elephant is one bite at a time. And I guess how you write a savage memoir is one word at a time, and then a sentence and a paragraph. And then all of a sudden I looked at it, I was like, oh man, I have a completed manuscript. And it was just pretty amazing to see it all come together.
Bobby, so you grew up in a small town in Wisconsin, and then, you know, you chased your dream of becoming a hockey pro. You end up in juniors, but you're playing in these small towns and everything all over the place. You travel to these smaller Canadian towns where you're playing junior hockey. Then you show up to Lowell, Massachusetts. What is your first impression outside of the campus of Lowell, Massachusetts?
Beautiful campus. I mean, showing up there was just showing up on campus and realizing I'm a Division I athlete now. Like that was always the real dream for me. That was like the attainable dream. And then I always would say, I think it was more my lips just saying it, that I wanted to play in the NHL, but I don't think my heart really believed it, or my head really believed that it could be a possibility. But I always knew that Division I hockey was there for me. And I don't know, I can't explain it, but I just always knew that I was going to play Division I hockey. And when I showed up there on campus, it was like, all right, this is a dream come true. But then I looked around at all the guys, and, you know, I was a young man, and I'm playing, some of the seniors were 24 years old, and they were, you know, men, big dudes. And I was like, all right, you know, the time to celebrate's over. Now it's time for hard work. And then when I got on the ice, I realized that I was one of the worst players on the team. So it was a quick reality check of kind of entering that, the big pond, so to speak, and seeing just how good hockey players are at that level. And so for me, it was an amazing feeling. But right away, it was that kind of the excitement was taken away quickly when I realized that, all right, this is the real deal. If I'm gonna survive here, if I'm gonna be successful, I'm gonna have to really dig in and give it everything I have. But yeah, I mean, when I didn't play my first 6 games or so, I was a healthy scratch. But when I finally got in there, I got to play a home game in Lowell at the Songus Arena. It was just a dream come true. It was pretty amazing.
All right, Bobby, when I talked to you years ago, you were talking about how difficult it was for you to fight, and you know, because you fought a lot. I mean, that's how you made the NHL. But beyond hockey and beyond fighting, you were honest about like how that was hard for you mentally and mental struggles that can obviously lead to addiction. When you're writing the book, you know, it can be hard to admit that stuff. It can be hard to admit that kind of stuff and go back and untie those knots, and then to put it in book form and let people read it. What were there parts there in terms of coming to grips with things that you were hesitant to keep out, that you were hesitant to keep in there? What part of this journey can you tell us about that you were like, that helped the most maybe, but was the hardest to put out?
Yeah, I mean, the title is Sex, Drugs, Pucks, and Souls. So I really, when I sat down to write this, I told myself that I was gonna do a deep dive exploration into those 4 categories into my life. And I mean, at that point when I was writing the story, and even to the point where I'm at now, like I'm still searching for healing in some of those regards. And for me, it was a really therapeutic exercise in writing those and kind of going back into some old memories and facing some old demons and skeletons. And so Sex, Drugs, Pucks, and Souls, I mean, it was looking at my complete sex life from beginning to end, looking at the highs and the lows, the brokenness of it all. And same thing with drugs. You know, like you said, for whatever reason, I got that addictive bug early on, you know, as a young teenager, and it's followed me my whole life. I mean, if I can be honest, I don't think I'm quite out of the woodwork right now, but so I really wanted to explore that and see, well, what's the relationship between, you know, addictions and drugs and sex, and then how is that related to hockey? And for me, you know, that's where the category of pucks comes in. And that for me, it was, you know, as a young kid, just chasing the dream. wanting to play in the NHL. And then also when you get to the pro ranks, there's that pressure. For me, I was a big guy. You know, I was 6'1", 220, skated around like a heat-seeking missile, looking to smash dudes into the boards. And that's just what I love to do. But then when you reach the pro ranks, there's the fighting element of it, and there's the pressure to fight. And for me, I had to really look at myself in the mirror, and I was like, wow, I'm actually a coward. I'm really terrified to fight. And I let that fear consume me. And then it was easy to be consumed by that fear when I was just consuming, you know, massive amounts of drugs and alcohol to cover that. For me, it was shame and embarrassment of being a coward. And then there's the last category of souls of, you know, I really looking at my life and saying, who am I? Like, am I just meat and bones? Is there more to me? Am I on a spiritual journey right now? And for me, after my hockey career ended, that's when I really looked into that aspect of saying, well, if I'm not a hockey fighter anymore, what am I now? So yeah, I really wanted to do a deep dive into those 4 categories. And ultimately, throughout the story, it was me searching for the redemption of those 4 categories in my life. And part of writing the story and capturing it in the Savage memoir was just kind of the tail end of searching for that redemption. But yeah, I think some of the hardest parts were, I mean, if you've read the book, there's a lot of graphic sexuality in there. There's a lot of just, you know, glimpses of addiction. And I was like, well, it took me years to be able to come to grips with the fact that I was going to put this out there. And for me, that was kind of similar to me facing the fear of fighting. It's like, well, I'm in a fight now, a different kind of fight. I want to inspire people and I want to bring them out of darkness. And I've experienced a lot of darkness in my life. What's the best way to bring someone out of darkness into the light? And I was like, well, I'm going to expose my darkness and I'm going to show it, you know, hoping that other people see that. And they're like, well, I'm not alone in this. Here's this big, tough hockey fighter who's being, you know, super transparent with his life and his struggles. And so one of my goals was just to inspire people to come out of their darkness and to find that light in their lives. And I've seen that now with people who've resonated with the book. You know, just part of my story is my tobacco journey and just one part of my addictions. And I just had a message 2 days ago from a guy from my town here who said, you know, of all the stuff that I touch in the Savage memoir, I mean, I hit on a lot of different areas. The one that resonated with him is the tobacco quit. And he wrote me and he said that he was 1 week quit from tobacco, and I inspired him to do that. So for me, that makes it worth it. If I got to air out some of my dirty laundry and put myself out there and maybe even look like the fool, I'm willing to do that because I have a bigger purpose and a bigger call on my life. And when I see people have their lives affected by it, it makes it worth it to me.
Well, certainly. I mean, if you're honest about things that have happened in your life, everyone has got, peaks and valleys, and everyone has their own struggles, and anything that someone can relate to will certainly help them. But it's brave to put that stuff out there. You mentioned sexuality. You mentioned sexuality a lot. That's not typically mentioned in an ex-athlete's book. Just give us kind of about why was sexuality such a important thing? You've mentioned it several times in this interview. It's on the cover of the book. Why sexuality? What about that is such a big part of your journey?
Well, I think it's a big part of everyone's journey. I mean, I know sex, like everyone has sex. Everyone thinks about sex. It seems like sex is running the world, and it's everywhere you look. And I noticed that early on as a young boy, really. And I was just always had this instinct. I always felt like I had a call on my life, and I had a reason that I was experiencing all these things. And sex was one of those things where I was like, I think I'm supposed to talk about this. You know, maybe I'm supposed to talk about sex and sexuality and what it all means. And I always felt that in my life, but I was always too scared to do that. Obviously, it's pretty intense to put out the real deal out there. And so I wanted to put out there my experience with, you know, brokenness and sexual abuse and pornography was a big one that really wrecked me in a big way. And I just look at the world around me and I see how big of an influence pornography is. I think I just saw a statistic yesterday that the porn industry is bigger than all the 4 major sports combined, you know, in the, hundreds of billions of dollars. And so I saw how pornography really impacted my life in a huge negative way, massive negative way, and led to all kinds of sexual confusion, And it led to, questioning my sexuality. It led to, when you boil it down, it really led to just brokenness sexually and really a lie. I really believe it's a lie. I learned sex and I learned sexuality from pornography on the TV screen and old, VHS tapes in the 90s. And I thought that's just the way it was. And so I went out into my life as an athlete trying to pursue that and really almost putting on that mask of sexuality, of this is how it's supposed to be. And it never felt right in that way. And so that led to a lot of confusion for me. And so now I look around the world and I see sexual confusion everywhere. And part of my wanting to write this book was to help people, like I said, helping people in those 4 regards of sex, drugs, pucks, and souls. Sexually speaking, I want to help people who are sexually confused or who are sexually broken, because I see a lot of that brokenness and confusion. So I shared that story as deeply and as graphically as I could. And that was not an easy thing to do. And but at the end of the day, it's for that bigger picture. And I hope that my hope is that if there's a young guy who's kind of like me, I wrote this book really to my younger version of myself, who's sitting there and trying to live that life and, banging around and living the life, but really feeling shame and confusion on the inside. My story is for that kid who would hopefully read my story and say, okay, I'm not alone in this. And what is this? What is sexuality? What is my purpose of having these feelings? Like, what am I supposed to be like? What's God's way of sexuality and not the world's way, which I really believe is a lie that a lot of people are believing at this time in history.
All right, Bobby Robbins. You remember him from his time in Providence with the Bruins. He was a bit of a hero around here for a little while. I mean, he was very he was a tough guy. Bobby's new book, tough, vulnerable guy. Bobby's book is Sex, Drugs, Pucks, and Souls. It's out now. Bobby, best of luck. You're going around with this thing. You're promoting this thing.
Yeah, we're promoting it, and it just got released about a week ago. So I mean, you're really the first big show we've been on, and I appreciate your support. I sent some books out to you guys, and I really do appreciate that you guys have been supporting me all these years. And it's I was out actually out in Providence a couple months ago for their last weekend there for their fan fest weekend, and got to see a lot of old faces. I hadn't been to a game in a decade, and to come back with my story and. Obviously, it's an intense story, but I think it's important. I think it makes an impact on people's lives, and so it meant a lot to me for the Providence Bruins to come to invite me to the game and to be able to be there and sell my books. And so, yeah, I mean, I hope to get back out east and get up to Lowell, get to Boston and Providence as much as I can, because there is a huge fan base out there. And one of the things I wanted to do on the ice, starting as far as back as I can remember, but especially at Lowell and at Providence and Boston, when I started to become a real pro, was I wanted to, every time I was on the ice, I wanted to lay it out there and play, with my heart on my sleeve and pour out every ounce of me. And I think that's why fans resonated with me. Obviously the fighting helped with that, but it was the hitting, and it was just playing with heart and grit and jam. And even when I was fighting, just giving it everything I had. And so I think that's why the fans resonated with me. And I wanted to do that every game. And so that's where I'm at now in my life with my art and my creativity in this book, is I poured out every ounce of me really and put it all in there and really expose my heart and soul for the world to see. And I did this all myself. A lot of books are ghost written, and but this is I'm an English writing major, and I poured it all out there. And I just appreciate it. If you want to have a glimpse of a savage hockey fighter and to see the true vulnerability inside of a heart of a man, the Savage Memoir exists. So I'd appreciate if you check it out.
All right, Bobby. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much.
All right, there you go. Bobby Robbins. The book is out now, Sex, Drugs, Pucks, and Souls. We'll be back with the big email segment in just a moment. we're Toucher and Hardy. Lockhart, where can people email you if they choose?
It rolls right off the tongue. It's michael.lockhart@bbgi.com.
Michael.lockhart.
Now, how do you spell Michael?
Michael.
I bet that's a commonly misspelled common name.
I know, I certainly do. I certainly misspell it. You can email Hardy at 985thesportshub.com, TOUCHER at 985thesportshub.com. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Toucher and Hardy, and follow me on Instagram at Fred Toucher, for I do not have a Twitter. Hardy, we both got this email, and you're right. It's an interesting question.
It is. This comes from Justin. He said, I'm 32 years old. The Music Choice channel is on. When I visit my parents all the time, they show photos of the artist being played. When you guys were growing up, was Madonna actually hot? Self-pleasure worthy? I remember myself enjoying music videos in that way as a youth. Britney, Christina Aguilera, and many, many more. But I see these pictures of Madonna on my parents' TV. I'm getting no sensation at all. Was wondering if you could shed some light on whether she was ever hot or not.
Okay, first of all, you're 32 years old, so you've grown up with access to pornography at your fingertips. So your lives and our lives are completely different.
But he did say that he got those feelings from watching Britney and Christina.
No, fair enough. But the deal is that you just don't know how difficult it was to find anything at the age where you were you were going to do it the most.
Correct.
I mean, I've told you, Weather Channel, Golden Girls, the Vicki Lawrence show. I remember going, what am I doing? I mean, if Kiana Tom was on when I got up, I was in there for I was good for a couple times. Like there was a lot going on. Now, was Madonna hot? Well, she's older than me, so I can tell you that looking back, she was hot during the Borderline video, but I was too young to care. The only time that, of course, all the time to Madonna, but the only one that I thought was truly, truly, truly hot was Justify My Love. Because that was basically like a softcore porn. That was the one that I used the most. Was she hot? She was hot enough to have sex with everyone in the music industry in New York. I mean, she had sex with club DJs so they'd play her records. She had sex with everyone at MTV. She had sex with record label people. So she had sex with Basquiat. She obviously was hot enough to do that. She had a great body. I don't know what to tell you. Hardy, your thoughts?
From the very beginning, there was something about the look, the like a virgin, the Borderline thing. Didn't really do it for me until two things happened. Number one, it became like common knowledge that she was from the area.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Suburban Detroit.
Rochester,
yeah.
like right next door to where I grew up. I'm like, that makes things a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
And then I got to say something about the Like a Prayer version of Madonna was much more.
The non-dyed hair?
Yeah, like that, like all the lace and all the stuff. It was just like too much over the top, but it's like, and I didn't like the, what was it? The like the bustier and all the muscular stuff. It's like, okay, now you're just going for some kind of look. I don't even know what it is.
Right.
But Like a Prayer, number one, not a bad song. I don't know about
that would have no factor in how I abuse myself.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Do you remember the videos? Because there's two in particular for me that were all timers. One video was the first time I ever did it. I didn't even know how to or that you could, and that was Samantha Fox's "Touch Me" video, which is her performing. And then the all timer for me is the Divinals. "I Touch Myself" was a. I mean, if I met the woman from the Divinals now, if she's still alive, I don't care who she is. And she wanted.
But that video, thank you. I mean, that video, the Bangles video, Susanna Hoffs, there's so many. I have to come up with a couple of things to think about Madonna where I thought, yeah, it's just pretty hot and I liked it. But compared to like the Divinals video or any video with Susanna Hoffs and the Bangles, like, no, in no way, shape, or form was she approaching that level.
Yeah, so I was younger than you guys, so it took a little while to get there. The year that it really hit me was the Take a Bow video. She just kind of like rolls around in lingerie,
That was like 95.
That
was that one struck
did
a
something
chord
for
with
you?
me. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I enjoyed that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in college. So I didn't see that video. That was when I was in my. I didn't have cable or any internet or anything. I lived in basically 4 years of not consuming any pop culture or sports or anything.
Do you want
from
to
93 to 97?
Do you want to, I mean, this one seems obvious what Ben is asking on the phones there. Do you see that?
All right, here we go. Ben, go ahead.
Listen, growing up with parents that were big in the hairband phase, I just need to know, was Tawny Katane that hot, or was she just hot on the hood of a car? That's what I need to know, guys. Thanks.
I never thought she was the one. In fact, Firehouse's "Baby Don't Treat Me Bad" was a much hotter chick. Obviously, Bobby Brown was one of the hottest women ever to live, and she was in the Cherry Pie video. If you're talking about that, I mean, there's ridiculous.
I thought Tawny Katane and Here I Go Again in that video was as hot as you could get.
Sure. And you know what? Not one of Jerry Seinfeld's hottest girlfriends on the show. He had much hotter girls in there.
Yeah, that was the one where he's playing chess with his brain. Yeah, Tony.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she's super hot on that one. But the hottest Seinfeld girlfriend is the one from The Race. Lois from The Race. the brunette with the kind of the bob cut that she'll take him to Hawaii if he wins the race.
Yeah.
She's the hottest one. I always liked her.
I always liked hello. Which one?
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. You didn't like the hot one from the pick?
I don't remember that one.
Oh, or the one that could get all the free stuff and he left his Friars jacket?
Yes.
She was good looking too.
Well, who was the naked one who was opening the jar of pickles naked?
Oh yeah.
Or do I just think that she's hot because she was
hot.
Somewhat nude?
She was blonde. She was a good looking girl. I mean, they were all good looking. Some is better looking than others, like Lois from The Race. That was the hottest one.
Seemed to be very much attached to that. I'm gonna have to. I don't remember what she looked like.
There's a bunch of Superman references. That's why it's a big deal. She's called Lois. That is in that he goes over the top. You can tell that was Jerry's favorite too because he got to name her Lois. All right, you look that up and you tell me where you're at with her. You're gonna like her too. Everyone's gonna like her. Another really hot one was the one that George's girl that thought he was from Alabama or Arkansas and took him around. She was like worked for the city.
Oh yeah,
Is that was the bad boy?
No. I didn't care for that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be a tourist.
He was supposed to be a tourist. She was a brunette with blue eyes, striking blue eyes. We get to Russ the emails all the time. Are people really making a big deal of Kyle Filipowski's age difference, 26 to 21? People are saying she has got him away from his family. That's why he went in the second round. When Bill is banging someone that was born when Bill was your age, Freddie T. That's right. The age difference between Bill Belichick and the girl that he's dating would be like from me and an infant. Think about that. The baby could be being born right now. That's how that and I'm 49. That could be. I mean, I'm on the verge of 50, and the baby would be being born right now.
Somebody did a timeline.
I don't think you should date a newborn. I'm telling you this. Is
No, what I'm saying. No,
I don't mean to impose my morality on you if you're even thinking about it.
But
I don't think you should.
But what would be even what's is obviously that's absurd. But what's interesting though is just like let's add another 24 years to my life.
It doesn't make it any better.
No, it really doesn't. Let's just go 24 years from now and see what floats. Richie, go ahead.
Hey guys, Courtney Cox when she was Seinfeld's girlfriend. Yes or no?
Well, of course, that's the best Courtney Cox has ever looked. By the way, better than Ace Ventura, much better than Friends, where she's nothing but annoying.
Exactly.
The episode where she's his girlfriend, but yet he picks the French girl over her, so that makes her even hotter, kind of too. That's when they have the dry cleaning and they say that they're married. And they end up having a relationship like married people who get on each other's nerves. Yeah. Jerry, a lot of successes. I'm
looking up the woman from the one that wanted to be naked all the time. Her name in real life is Kathleen McClellan. That might be my choice right there.
They all have to be in their 60s now. Now, have you looked up Lois?
Yes, not aged well.
Ugh, that's a shame.
She looks like somebody from like a Hardy bracket.
Really?
Well, let me see.
Yeah, let's get going. All right, so very good. We'll be back in just a minute with the stack, and then we're gone, mercifully for you. You'll have Ryan Johnston and Michael Holly and Lockhart and everyone else. We'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headline.
Massachusetts. Call 1-877-KIDS-NOW or go to insurekidsnow.gov. We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel and Hardy. This is
it, baby.
This is it. And then a well-deserved vacation from us, the audience gets.
Bring it into the barn here.
You can just relax.
You're not getting a vacation from Lockhart, though.
Nope.
No, Lockhart he's going to be on the air. He's going to be on the air with Holly and Johnston on Monday and Tuesday.
You looking forward? Are you looking forward to that, Michael?
I couldn't be looking forward to it more.
See, that's a shot at us. That was a subtle shot at us.
Mostly you.
God bless you, Michael. Thank you.
Well, now I don't even feel like telling you what's in the stack.
Then we won't have anything to do.
I don't want to even do it. How about not doing another Bronny James story? I'm serious. We've enough already, but suffice it to say, there was plenty of defending the pick last night. How much do you think Uber and Lyft drivers get paid, Fred? We were talking about hourly wages yesterday, minimum wages, things like that.
Oh, boy. It would just be what cut Uber or Lyft takes from them, which I would imagine would be...
There's a new minimum pay standard in Massachusetts for Uber and Lyft drivers. What do you think it is?
And it's an hourly wage?
Yes.
50?
No. $32.50 per hour under settlement announced Thursday by the Attorney General of Massachusetts.
Now, that's difficult because what if I just have my app on, but I'm not picking anyone up? Do I still get the $32?
Great question.
Yeah, if you take one short ride, you get $32 for that?
Yeah, like I had it on because I'll tell you this, it ain't easy in the city at night getting a Lyft or an Uber.
No, took me an hour from Fenway once.
Yeah, it is. Oh yeah, you got to grab a cab out of Fenway. You got to get out of Fenway. You got to grab one of those cabs, and they know it.
Yep.
So there's no negotiating.
Drivers
they
will
ain't
now
turning that meter on, and you're paying them $60 to go to Newton, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and they want cash.
Yes.
Or else you're waiting an hour for an Uber or Lyft.
So drivers will now earn 1 hour of sick day pay for every 30 hours worked, up to a maximum of 40 a year. Uber and Lyft must update their driver applications, stipend to buy into state's paid family and medical leave program, and they will allow drivers to pool together their hours driving for the two companies to obtain access to a health insurance stipend.
Oh, well, that's ridiculous. Stop it. What is this, socialism? My God. Too much. I finally, by the way, have, if I took a sick day, it would be granted by the company.
Nice.
I started off in the red.
Yeah, I'm still in the red.
Yeah. Takes a while, baby. You got to climb back. I think I have a day and a half of sick time. And I haven't taken a sick day since last fall. And it took me that long to accrue enough.
You accrued 12 hours?
I've accrued, like probably about 12 hours. Because I had 8, and that was a big time for me. So I think I'm at about 12.
When you log into like balloons and stuff go off, like
I think there might have been balloons.
Confetti comes down with.
Carolyn Beasley sent me a very nice email. She said, "I saw that you're in the black," and I'm like, "Oh, hey,
I see. It's okay for you to be sick again."
Yeah, exactly. like that. Yeah, remember when you could literally couldn't talk? Yeah, that's a problem for us.
Have you been following the Sunday ticket lawsuit?
I have been. I'm actually quite interested in it.
Okay, so U.S. District Court jury has ordered the NFL to pay more than $4.7 billion in damages after they ruled that the league violated antitrust laws, distributing out-of-market Sunday afternoon games on a premium subscription service. So what does it mean? The $4.7 billion in damages to the residential class and $96 million in damages to the commercial class.
And by the way, that can triple or quadruple.
Yes. tripled under federal antitrust laws. The NFL could end up being liable for almost $14.4 billion.
Yes.
So there are 2.5 million residential subscribers and about 50,000 businesses who paid for the package for out-of-market games from 2011 to 2022 on DirecTV, and their lawsuit said that the league broke the antitrust laws by selling its package of Sunday games at an inflated price.
Guess whose idea it was to do Sunday Ticket? Who, with the NFL, it was their idea. They are now doing something else, and they are famous.
Bobby Valentine.
Jake Tapper from John Tapper from Bar Rescue.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. Taffer.
Jake Tapper?
Whatever. You know what I'm saying. The guy from Bar Rescue.
Live from the debate, Jake Tapper.
What do you do?
Sleepy Joe. By the way, I told you I heard Mike Florio on Mad Dog, and he said he had been a lawyer, and he said, all right, hang on to your hat, people. Federal judges are appointed by presidents, and the conservative ones tend to favor corporations, while the liberal ones tend to favor individuals. Tim sends an email, hey, Fred, well, I do work in the judicial branch. I've been able to glean a ton of new information from Mike Florio's legal background. For instance, do you know judges wear robes? How about they can get people to settle down simply by saying, order in the court? Or bizarre fact, they call it a court, but there are no hoops. That guy almost knows too much. It's true. Mike Florio was the expert on that, and that was his big thing. And he prefaced it by saying, I don't want to get too political here. And you're like, oh, I don't want to get too political here, but I think the Supreme Court judges that were nominated by Republicans might be a little more anti-abortion than the ones with the Democrat presidents. I don't mean to get too political here by stating that.
Right.
But I did. Here I am venturing in getting into the soup right before vacation.
Fred, I did get one message on Twitter. Someone asked me why they didn't understand the joke and why not just give out the address for the Robbie Road Steamer show tonight. It's not a joke, and maybe you understand this. They're literally not allowed to advertise the address. Is it because it is considered a private party and not actually like a quote-unquote commercial concert?
Yeah, I'm sure that they got permission from the church to run it, but they don't have the. I'm sure there's a bunch of hoops in Brookline. It's in Brookline, so there's got to be a million hoops you got to jump through in front of noise ordinances in terms of capacity and all that stuff. So when you advertise it, it probably sets it into a whole nother motion. They probably want to keep it as low key as possible.
Right, and just have the password ready at the door.
Cubba-dubba-doo. Yes, the password will be cubba-dubba-doo.
Hopefully the church is near the Star Market.
Yes. No one will complain. I mean, they picked the right city. No one will complain.
But if you get there, or if you need to find it, Robbie's quite serious. You have to just slide into his DMs. Message him on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and he'll tell you where the show is.
And just know if you DM him.
Yeah, I know. You could ask me. I'll tell you.
And then if you DM him, by the way, then you're on his list. And I can almost assure you that won't be the last time you're talking to him.
Cause you kept talking about going to college. So I put a baby in you. Now you got something to do.
That's right.
It's going to be happening tonight.
Scotty Z, you going away this week? This your last day?
It is my last day, yeah. Heading to Chicago tomorrow.
What?
For a couple days.
Oh, yeah. They got family.
Got family there. See the family. Haven't seen them in a while.
All right.
Yeah.
So and then I'll be back end of the week and at Cape Cod. Heading back down to Cape.
Yeah, you have like a whole compound there on the Cape.
Somewhat. She does, yes.
Well, whatever. You get to use it.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite nice.
So
nice.
your 4th of July is, I mean, what's better for you, 4th of July or Christmas?
Christmas. Like, I love Christmas. You know it's my favorite holiday.
Well, no, I don't know. That's why I asked.
I do
You
love the 4th. I mean, you're celebrating the country's independence.
You love the
right?
baby Jesus or you love America more?
Red, white, and blue.
Which
I was a feature in Cape Cod Magazine about my clam bakes down on the 4th that we've had.
Whoa.
Lobster bakes.
Wow.
I'll bring it in. A nice spread. Got a nice spread. I had red, white, and blue flag shorts on and a white T-shirt.
Someone loves this country.
That says American like that, man.
No, obviously not.
Yeah.
I mean, it tells that you are no agent of the Soviets.
I'm not. I drink beer out of a cooler, on ice, and I sit
White
on
Sharks.
Sit on plastic Adirondack chairs out in the driveway while the clam thing's going. That's working, man.
Yeah.
So you be back down the Cape for
I'll
the
be back
4th
for the
of July.
4th. Yeah. So I think we come back.
Got a parade on that day?
Yeah, we do a parade in the neighborhood. Yeah.
It's a neighborhood parade.
Neighborhood parade.
Now, how's that work? Do you have floats? Or
They
do
have
you
some
just
old
walk-
crazy lady that she brings this pot in the front, and she passes out like all these handouts of My Country 'Tis of Thee, and at the end of the street there's a flag that goes up, and
And you
there's-
guys burn it?
There's some wacko kid there that's got a guitar, and he's playing, bow, 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 bow. We're all singing, like everybody's, half the people are saluting. It's the way it is, man.
Stolen
That's
valor.
That's the way you start the day. Crazy.
That's how you start the day?
Well, it's like half the families have all young kids, and then there's that generation gap to us, and then there's the really old people that are like, hey, it's the 4th, okay.
All right, and then you get that over with, and then you can have fun.
Oh yeah.
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 You're almost obligated living on the street. I know how it is. Like it would be
it's-
weird if you didn't do it.
It's an association parade.
Right. I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying.
And if you don't go, you're the cast off, and you won't have a voice in association meetings. Like,
When I was a kid, we did in my neighborhood, and I used to think it was Santa. They would give everyone these bags with sand in it and candles, and you were supposed to light the way for Santa, and like it was really exciting
yeah.
for me as a kid.
Yeah, you put them right up the
Yeah, and then you could tell like the people that didn't do it. Yeah, who do you think you are?
Right.
You're too good for this.
Yeah.
It's not even cheap. It's free. They hand
Right.
you the stuff. Like all you got
come
to
around
do is
fire trucks. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's a fire truck, and then
And they
Santa
get
in the back
town
of a
people.
pickup.
Yeah, they get the town truck with full sand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you run down the street as the parent, and you hand
Hell
Santa
yeah.
a gift, and then the Santa comes up, and the kid goes crazy and thinks
Yeah.
it's like really Santa with the gift.
Right.
Yeah, I imagine not. See, if I lived in a neighborhood that did that, you would think, oh, Fred, you wouldn't do it. I would do it in 10 seconds. I'd do all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if there was that 4th of July parade, I'd walk in that dumb thing too.
Would you dress up?
Then you
No.
Put on a flag?
Then you see
I
like
would
5
not.
people
Flag
you've never
shirt?
seen before.
No.
They ain't
I
from
find
the
that
neighborhood.
offensive.
What are they doing here?
I'd wear my Def Leppard Union Jack shirt.
Hell yeah.
From the Pyromania days.
Hell yeah.
All right, Scotty Z, you're going to take us out. What do you got going today?
Golf handicaps. Like last night I thought I was at like a 27, like a legit 27. I might be under a 10, like really. So I'm going to start taking some lessons next week. I'm going to play Hardy. He's invited me to his course.
In all
Fred's never
seriousness,
Those
invited me
guys
to
are
his.
both so good at golf. It's unbelievable because they, you wouldn't think either one of them would be as good as they claim to be, but they're
God.
both really, really good.
Do you think that will inspire some kid to go like, you know what? I need to do this. Like some smart kid to go like, all right, I'll do it. Like I'm going to do it. Like I'll be okay. All right, guys,
what?
I'll be president.
Be president.
Because no one any good wants to be president.
No.
I mean, you know that.
No.
You yield way more
amazing.
power in the private sector.
It's amazing.
I mean, it's really amazing.
The minds
it's
we
like
have in
a
this
garbage
country.
job.
Think about it.
Think about if they both came in and they said like, "We want to be CEO of your company." You'd be like, "Get the hell out of here!" They wouldn't even make it into your waiting room.
Go enjoy your families. Like,
One's, I know. Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Why is there no one with?
I don't have to be here. I don't know why I'm here. What are you here for?
I don't know.
Did you see him at the Waffle House last night? I'm like,
Oh my God! Don't do it.
Would you just take him home?
Take him home. It was like telling kindergartner just lost a race. You did great.
There has to be something more powerful than all of this that's going to help us.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Scott, enjoy yourself.
All right.
Hey, Michael,
Hey, have a
great
great
job.
holiday.
Mike Lockhart,
Hey,
great
come
job
a-dubba-doo.
today. Come a dubba-doo, baby. We'll see you in a week unless something happens. Very
I'll see you Monday.
Very controversial show today. We'll miss you, Michael. That'll do it for us. Bye.